Buddy. Oh my goodness, so good to see you all. It's so good to see you all.
Wow.
How's
Good
everybody
morning.
feeling? Everyone good?
We made it.
We have made it. We have made it.
Wonderful.
2024, the year of the dragon, is really breathing in, and a lot of changes are happening everywhere. Oh my God, it's so good to be here. Let's see. Where we go. Michelle had such a great idea. She said, why don't you turn on, well, I can't see Michelle.
It was Kat.
Oh, it was Kat. Kat, that was such a good idea. Sorry, that was Michelle. Well, so turn on the camera so we could see the beautiful water. And I turned it on, but I turned it on the wrong link. So guys.
The water's been there.
We'll turn it so you can see in a bit. Actually, it'd be great if we'll show the sunset.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of things are happening here. The Asclepius sanctuary, we had bought this, and I remember David and Cindy was with me, I'm pretty sure, when we bought that statue at the Theater of Epidavros. And I may have mentioned it before, but we got the statue. I pay tribute to Asclepius for my healing, and of course, as the god of healing, he's in the center of our heart and in the center of our life. Mm-hmm. And now that we bought our house, he is in front of our house. If I mentioned it, the view of our house is the whole temple and the stadium and all that. So we're really, really psyched. Yeah. Of course, it's really hard to leave this house. I think you've seen the view from here. I'll share it again later and during sunset. But we've begun the work on the other house, and we're doing the healing room first, of course. And
facing the Avaton, which is absolutely spectacular.
So now that you say facing the Avaton, has anyone heard the word Avaton? Let me see hands. Avaton. Okay. I think it might be. I'm going to look and see if there has any root with the idea of avatar.
I must.
So avaton is an ancient Greek word, and it means that cannot be stepped on. In other words, that cannot be reached physically. And it is where Hippocrates was instructed by goddess Asclepius. Hippocrates would go in deep meditation and see god Asclepius, and he would give him guidance of how to give healing. And so he was instructed to create the space, and they created this temple. You would go to the Avaton, and besides the healing rooms and the bathrooms and massage rooms, etc., this location also had, as I said, the theater, because again, if you want to be healed, you need to be healed holistically, which means body, soul, and spirit. So the theater was there to heal your soul. There was a gymnasium and a stadium to heal the body, and there was a meditation place. I screwed up. It's like the meditation also place to heal the mind. Yes. In the meditation hall, people were instructed to go to sleep and try to see Asclepius and receive a bite from the serpent of Asclepius. And if you would be bit by the serpent, you would receive a healing. And actually it's seen, we'll show you guys later, we got this beautiful mural for the room, for the healing room, which is a scene which is 2,500 years old, a replica, of course, of a scene where Hippocrates is healing people, and his assistant is holding a snake and is putting it on someone's shoulder. Those were the vaccines back in the day, were serpents. You go, and so if you'd go into this deep sleep and you'd see the serpent or Asclepius, you would receive healing. You'd receive a shift of consciousness, because the whole shamanic idea, which is what we're talking about, Hippocrates was a shaman, right? Although he is the father of Western medicine, his ways, besides the herbs, which is the medications, were essentially shamanic, because they refer to, if you're not well, it's not like you got something from the outside in. It's not that you got a bug or any kind of like germ. the fact was that you were not in balance. So you needed to find your balance. Once you found your balance, there's nothing wrong with you, right? So the allopathic medicine of how it's arrived to be today is like, oh, there's the flu came in me, and now I'm not well. Where the shamanic and Ayurvedic and Hippocratic real methods were saying, if you're not balanced, you will feel dis-ease. If you're not balanced, you create an inner environment that does welcome something like a flu or something like any kind of other pathogens that will create that disease. But again, it's allopathic. It's like the idea of like, I'm separate from the rest of the world, where the shamans, Hippocrates, the Ayurvedic, Chinese medicine, most medicine of the rest of the world, believe that we're a part of a greater environment. But that allopathic, and again, allopathic medicine and Western medicine absolutely has its place, and I'm still alive today because of my surgery at the National Institute of Health. But if it were only for that, I would not be alive today, because I am here today also because I was there with the shamans and changed my inner environment, my body, my endocrine system, and my way of thinking. And this is what Hippocrates basically suggested and offered. The idea is that if we're going to heal someone, we have to heal the way they think and the way they are. And once you begin to be in balance, then you're in balance with everything inside you and outside you. In that kind of environment, in an alkaline environment, all these other pathogens can't take root.
And as Ray's sharing about this space, many of you know we've been kind of in this journey of finding a home, a Jaguar den, a sanctuary, if you will. I finally got to a place where I looked at Ray and I said, I want a sanctuary. I want a space where we can retreat to, that's ours, that we can cultivate, we can get our roots down. And as we're moving into the session 5 called Using Passwords, and session 6 will be going into divination and manifestation, Ray said, we're gonna find our dream home. Honey, we're gonna find our dream home. And so it's been a 4-year journey for us of finding our dream world, home and world. And we were laughing. I said, I finally gave myself permission to say I want a sanctuary, which felt like a really big thing for me to like say that, right? Like to like have value myself and be like, yes, I want a sanctuary. Little did I know that we would literally be in the sanctuary of Asclepius, one of 3 houses, facing the Abaton, which is the portal to the dream world. So we laugh because this is, of course, what we're sharing with you all. And just to kind of state the apparent, right? Here we are, and we're in this process of receiving the blessing of becoming stewards of the sanctuary of Asclepius. And it's been quite a journey. So with that, we'll shift into, you want to read before you open sacred space?
Oh, I do want to read,
okay.
And I do want to open sacred space.
We're going to do it all.
So again, for those of you who are with me in the yoga we do on Sundays, the Radiant Sutras, it is in our membership site. Mm-hmm. Definitely a book to have. Like if there's one book that I want you to have from this training, this is a must. You have to buy it. Thank you. I can see some of you. Emmy, yeah.
And then you guys know that right behind him, I'm saying, but you need the Tao Te Ching. You need the esoteric Tao Te Ching.
This is the book you need.
The yin and yang.
Definitely, yes, all these books. And again, one of the things I want to offer about this book, as well as the Tao Te Ching,
of course, yeah.
The I Ching, the art of war, the art of peace. One of the things that we're doing in the heart of the Jaguar Trimester, and we're in the heart of it now, and like the middle weekend of the 3,
yes,
is that we're realizing the difference between the inner self, the shaman, and the narrator. And then you could say, well, what's going to happen with the narrator? I still have the narrator, or we disassemble the narrator. And that was from the old school and in the 70s and the 80s, and it really perplexed me in the 90s and the 2000s, that I was trying to see what I'm going to do with my ego or the narrator. And there is this whole idea that you just totally disassemble the narrator. And that's not the case. The narrator, if you look at the word ego, guess what? It's Greek, and it means I. It's a Greek word, it means I, me. So you never disassemble your identity. But what we're doing is, on one hand, turning the volume down, because I am not alone. I am in relation to, first of all, Nina, you guys. As I mentioned earlier, an environment that I'm in. I'm not like a ray somewhere in the universe. I am right within my view over here, the sanctuary that I mentioned. I mentioned it, see how we're mentioning it. It's identity, right? It's a part of our ego. It's part of what we as I, two eyes, choose to identify with and to live in. And I'm saying this because when I'm referring to these books, we say, okay, we learn how to up the volume of the shaman and be able to quieten that voice inside, the ego, the narrator inside, so I can feel what the shaman is feeling in the moment of a session or in the moment that I need to. And then parallel to that, I'm educating the narrator. I'm educating my narrator. So I'm sitting at the lights, it's a red light, and I'm idling. My engine is idling and my brain is idling. What is my brain idling? Is it idling my separation from the world? Am I going back to all the stories, someone that did something to me 10 years ago? Am I going to old patterns? Or I might be educating my brain and I'm like remembering 3 sentences or 1 sentence from this book. So it's really important to understand that idea. Like, I'm educating my narrator, and I love my narrator. And it sent me in a tailspin for years, and I feel it has thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who entered into a spiritual path in the 80s and the 90s. It's just like, you destroy the ego. It's like, whoa, who's going to be left? Like that's me. Excuse me. I came to be spiritual and I want to remain here. So, but it's going to be an I point two. I point two. It's like I and evolved. And there's some stuff I still might like chocolate ice cream. I still might like black motorcycle. There's things that the ego, like all these material things that they don't matter, but they're part of who we are, and it's part of the greater reality. So with that said, from the Yoga Sutras, chapter 53, gaze out at space, aware of multicolored luminosity permeating everywhere. The blue sky filled with rays from the sun, the night sky dark, yet crisscrossed by the light of a billion stars. How can this be? All space is the same, inside you and far away. Lose yourself in spaciousness. Come home to your true self. Chapter 53, page 88. If you have the book, we'll definitely we'll make a copy. Here you go. It's clicked already, and we'll send it to you guys. So there is this idea, and like I said before we open sacred space and go into the practice, the ego and the narrator are always going to be there. Like, and if you're a meditator, you already know that you sit in meditation, it's impossible to turn this off. Would you agree? Anyone? Yes, it's impossible to turn it off. And in fact, the harder you try, the more it spins. So there's a new relationship we like to set with it. And as we set this new relationship, instead of having that inner clash, it's like, oh, that's my ego, or that's materialism, and have an inner war, we let that go and we say, my beloved narrator, come here. Come. I love you. I love you. I love you. We seize that inner war and that's this first step to finding peace within. And within that peace, what is this first sentence is?
Gaze.
gaze. And in that gaze, there's this quietness. There's this like
gaze out at space.
Gaze out at space. You allow yourself, if you're not thinking and you're not in all that, just for a moment, to gaze out, to find that peace. And again, that peace, to first of all, like Wilbert Francisco have told us so many times, it's the first step to love yourself. Love yourself and love your narrator. Maybe because you like rock and roll, you like vanilla ice cream, whatever it is, all these little things that you've created that is like who you feel you are, that identity, love it. And only then can we start the process of discernment of what might need to be shifted. I say I love chocolate ice cream, and I do. So maybe twice a year I have chocolate ice cream. I don't have it five times a week, or it's like, I used to, right? But slowly, instead of pulling it away and making my spiritual evolution a struggle, I made it a sincere, loving process that could take its time. And I'm still evolving spiritually. We never end, right? I will evolve to my maximum when I'm with God, and I'm in no hurry at all. Right? I could have done that 20 years ago when they told me I would be leaving. I love everything here, and I'm staying here. You're stuck with me.
I'm so happy.
You guys are stuck with me too. All right, let's open sacred space.
Let's open sacred space. And as we open sacred space, I just, some of you that have been connecting with me in sessions, I've been offering a meditation, and I want to share a little bit of it now. As we're calling in the guides, the spirit of the animals, the spirit of the earth, the spirit of the sky, I want you to really feel the presence, the energy of these allies in each direction, really feeling yourself in the center. As you inhale, feel an expansion as you feel their presence. And as you exhale, feel an embrace. So you're feeling almost like a squeeze, like the jaguar, the serpent, everyone leaning in, and feel that affection. So I just wanted to offer that before we
That's beautiful.
hump way, bring them in. Let's call in our allies and really feel your personal, intimate connection with each of these spirits.
I want you to say it once again with each
Inhalation,
feel expansion.
And each exhalation, they're leaning in. And that expansion is that gaze. There's almost a suspension, like that when we get suspended in that spirit, like the birds floating in the sky. It's almost as if time stands still. And in the expansion, it's almost like reaching out for that hug. And then in the exhalation is like, receiving the embrace. Okay?
Absolutely. I can start talking about that.
I know. Let's go into sacred space. Here we go.
So please find yourself. South is the island of Crete for us. Hampwe, Amaru. To the winds of the south, Amaru, great serpent, be here with us. Wrap your coils of light around us. Hold us, squeeze us with your love. Allow us to feel that we're connected with Mother Earth as you are belly to belly with her. Teach us that we could shed our skin and let go of the past, that we do not have to carry with us all those old stories. We could let them go. We could feel the way of beauty and walk and feel Mother Earth as you do. Horpichai.
Horpichai.
Coming to your right, to the west. To the winds of the west, Otorongo, Hampwe Otorongo, Hampwe, how to meet you, Hampwe, Hampwe, Hampwe. Come, great Jaguar, great Shaman, be here. Teach us the way of bringing together the opposites. Teach us the way of expanding yourself to full softness, sweetness, sensitivity, that sensitivity that you have in your paws. Teach us to come and bring and embrace that power and that directness, that ability to engage, that strength that you have in your cause. Thank you, great Jaguar, for being on the planet as a spirit, for embodying this beautiful animal, the most stealthy and powerful animal of all the jungles of the world. Thank you for showing us the way of no fear in this world or the next. Thank you for teaching us that we as shamans in training can learn and can go from this world to the next world. Engage in the spirit world as you walk across the rainbow. May we all awaken to that ability, that innate ability that we have to be in both worlds. Hotpichai.
Hotpichai.
Turn to your right, to the north, to the winds of the north. Sweet, sweet, sweet hummingbird colimbri. Thank you for being here. Hampue colimbri, hampue, hampue, hampue. Flutter your wings in front of our solar plexus. Bring nectar and sweetness to anything that was once bitterness. Teach us how to stay still so we can gaze to the cosmos. Teach us, and thank you for teaching us, how we can fly back and take care of the things we need to take care of, to heal them so we can let them go. Thank you for teaching us to have a positive lookout in life and to find the nectar in every flower and in every person that we meet. Thank you for teaching us perseverance, as small as you are, as you fly from Florida to the Yucatan Peninsula over that 2,500 miles. Thank you for reminding us that we have the ability of that power, perseverance and sweetness through and through. Thank you for flying all the way back and opening the portal to our ancestors. Beloved ancestors, yogis, shamans, Taoists, ancient Greek, Hippocrates, Asclepius, we bow to you. We bow to you as you bring the important information we need to know so we know ourselves, so we understand what we are as beings. Thank you for giving us all this information, the Tao Te Ching and the I Ching. Thank you for giving us the Hippocratic Oath, for giving us the material of Hippocrates to learn how to heal so we can have a better life, so we can have a more compassionate life, so we can help ourselves and others. We bow to you, ancestors. And we hope to carry your light forward to the generations to come. Horpichai!
Horpichai.
Turning one more time to the right, coming to the east. Hampue, hampue kondora. Welcome, Condor. Thank you for coming. Thank you for teaching us to spiral upward. Thank you for teaching us to rise above our everyday life. Thank you, Condor, for teaching us the way of finding the thermals, understanding what in our environment helps us lift, and take that invisible force, may it be in the magnetic field, may it be in the relationships of people and supporters that we have around us, may it be the relationship we have with our beloved allies in the spirit world. Thank you for teaching us to rise and rise above our previous self, to evolve every day, to rise so high above that we can see with clarity and discernment. Thank you for reminding us to be free, not to be held down by a collective. Thank you for reminding us that we're connected to the divine as you are always flying wing to wing with a great spirit. Horpichai!
Horpichai.
And reaching down to the earth. Santa Terra Pachamama, Dulce Mamita, gracias por todos. Thank you. Mana ye, ευχαριστούμε για όλα. Thank you, Mother Earth, for all your gifts. Thank you for being our whole reality. Thank you for giving us our whole reality, for giving us all the elements to build the body, all the sustenance to nourish our body, and the planet, you, your body, so we can return this body back to you when we leave, to become dust and to be once again a part of your great sweetness and beauty. Thank you, Mother Earth, for your rivers, for your waters, for your oceans, for your mountains, for your lakes, for your forests, for your fruits, your vegetables, your flowers. Thank you for your rocks, your stones. Thank you for your sand. Thank you for everything that you are. You are everything, Mother Earth. From you we come, to you we'll return. Gratitude, Pachamama. Hampue, Horpichai.
Horpichai.
And reaching up above. Intitaita, Mamaquilla. Hampue, Intitaita. Hampue, Mamaquilla. Thank you, Father Son, for giving this prana, the chi, the life force that gives life and warmth to Mother Earth, that gives life to all beings born of her. Thank you for giving us every breath and the life force we breathe. Thank you for giving us the light to see in the day, the yin and yang balance of day and night. Thank you for giving us the yin and yang balance of all the seasons. Thank you for warming us up. Thank you for warming our plants and vegetables so we can eat and live. Thank you for allowing us to see with clarity. Thank you, Father Sun, for your fire so we can keep warm at night, so we can cook our food, so we can burn old contracts as we evolve. Mama Kita, thank you for your sweetness. Thank you for your feminine, deep, deep feminine energy, for reminding us the sweetness of the girl, the beauty of the woman, the wisdom of the grandmother. Thank you for holding us with such acceptance, admiration, and affection. Horpichai. Bringing your hands to your heart. I invite you to bow your chin to your heart. And as you do, next to it, put your ego in your narrator and bow to your ego in your narrator. And say, I love you as you are. I love you as you are. Be here and feeling that, almost that hug that Nina was saying earlier, that embrace. You're embracing sweetly your narrator. No matter what changes and changes you're going to bring to it, and evolutionary steps you're going to take from this place, embrace and love who you are, or else you will always be in war within and without. So thank you, beloved self, beloved ego, beloved narrator. I adore you. You're sweet, you're funny, and sometimes a little weird. And it's all beautiful. And bow a little deeper to any god or goddess. Remember that there is more traffic here than meets the eye. Who are you walking with? Who is that ally that's always wanted to be there? Acknowledge that ally that is always there with you, no matter what. And I bow to St. Francis and Christ. I bow to Hanuman and Shiva. I bow to Shakti and Kali. I bow to Santa Maria and Joseph. Inhale and gently rise and open your eyes. I bow to you guys and thank you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, you guys are the Jaguar Path. You are the training. And oh my God, I don't know, there's something just like so exciting about this.
We're so excited.
We're going to do yoga.
Yes.
Such a great idea. So, yeah, let's just, without any further ado, transition. If you could, my beloved one, set my timer up so I know where I am at in time and space, because I might teach for 3 hours if I don't.
I got you.
So please make your way to your mat. Let's see, I'm in the middle here.
It's 4:30. Do you want to do 45 minutes and go to 5:15?
What time do we end the break?
Usually
6:30, 5:15. Yeah, give me 45 minutes. Okay, so I invite you to find your mat and maybe do what I'm doing. I'm getting some dust off my mat. Not because I'm not using it, but because it's a windy day.
Yeah.
Perfect. And as you find yourself on the mat, just take a moment and begin to sway. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, love. Begin to sway left and right like a tree. And I see some of you are still walking to the mat. Cool, take your time. Now, as you're swaying, begin to feel your belly. Maybe bring your right hand and begin to make circles in your belly. As you're swaying, feel it. You have this container that's filled with water. 72% of what we are is water. So you're beginning to swoosh the waters inside you. And let's begin to make this kind of like a circle. It's almost like we're circling the hips. any which way you want. We're just gonna go both directions. So we're just telling the body we're beginning movement, and then reverse the direction of the circle. And continue to sway. And sway left and right. And then go down and up one direction, down and up the other direction. And watch the spine, lean the head, kind of like create a C shape with your spine. Whenever you're ready, come right up on your mat. Nice. And move it left and right. And let's evolve this to a ringing the temple bell. And watch this pan in the back, right? It goes right to the kidney adrenal area. So we're softening the kidney adrenal, we're balancing the adrenals. We're moving the waters, we're moving the lymphatic system. So they say hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. It's like, I can't even begin to talk about the importance of that, especially being someone that has lost a kidney. Big part of it was not hydrating enough. We are full of water. Our blood needs water. Our lymphatic system needs water. Our hormones need water. Our endocrine system needs water. Our digestive tract needs water. And we can make the chemicals, the body can make the chemicals to make blood, to make lymph, to make all that it needs, but it needs water to make them. So you're giving so much, and itself, the water itself is life force. It's like a stem cell. It's neutral and it can become anything you make of it. So go 3, 2, 1, and release. And coming in the center, let's begin to shake. There's a beautiful passage in the Yoga Sutras, and the Sutras is called the sacred tremor. So begin to feel that. It's like it's an earthquake under the feet, like a realization coming to the ego that it won't lose its job totally. It won't, and it can evolve. And then begin to bring in that, watch the wrists, begin to bring in the wrists. It's almost like saying, bring in that, bring in the love, bring in the love, bring in the love. And now I'm lifting the heels, so there's a little bit of a tap, Don't jar the nervous system, but kind of like, whoa, I'm awakening. And feel that tapping and feel if it actually is. Open your eyes a little wider, go like, open your eyes wider and see if that tapping, thump, 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 is like really just kind of like, oh, it's like a little espresso. Yeah, espresso tastes really good, but it does the same job. And now begin to lift the elbows up, so you're here in this shaking mode. And now you're moving left and right also. And now get the shoulders involved also. Big thing, we said with these 3 months are about the mind, Jaguar, right? Yeah, where does the mind live in this body? The mind is a part of this body, and this is one of the big things we're gonna start understanding. So if I have something that's happened to me, the first thing you wanna do, if something made you angry, sad, upset in any way, is before you start thinking about it and telling everyone or posting anything on Facebook, shake it off. Shake it off. It's literal. This idea and the saying that we have in English, shake it off, is literal. So you want to shake it off to come in more and closer to a neutral point. And release. Sweet. Inhale, part the feet, reach out to T position, circling fingers and wrists. 3, 2, 1. Reverse. And again, don't press at the edge of the joints. Very slowly, not at the edge of the joints. You are just simply, again, warming up the synovial fluid. And if I haven't mentioned it before, some of you have heard it 100 times. Think of synovial fluid just like coconut oil. Go to the elbows as you make gentle fists. Where coconut oil, the moment it becomes just a little cold, it becomes white and solid, so it's chunks and pieces. But when you warm it up a little bit, it becomes liquid, so now it's flowing throughout the whole of each joint. Reverse the direction, Why? We said because we want to create the fluidity so electricity can move through the whole body and not get stuck in the joints and create stagnation, or else known inflammation, or else known as arthritis. Shoulders, bring a chicken beaks, hands to shoulders, go inward, see if you can touch, see if you can spread, see if you can touch, see if you can spread. Nice. And reverse the direction. Sweet. Inhale, come to center, feet under you. Inhale, your shoulders up to the ears like someone's putting you in a hanger. And say, ha. Well, let's do that again. Inhale up. Ha. One more, last one. Inhale. Ha. Sweet. And for all those who have been with us to Greece and are going to be with us, let's swim out there. Out, out, out. Oh, nope, we're too far away from the boat. Back, stroke, back to the boat. Sweet. 3, 2, 1, release. Inhale your hands out to big open and say, I accept myself and my narrator totally. And then give your narrator a big hug and say, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. Squeeze and inhale for a moment behind your back, so to spread the shoulder blades even more. Say, open space, breathe behind your heart. Notice which elbow is on the top. So when you inhale and open up, open up, open up, pinkies up, thumbs down. Next time you hug yourself, bring the other elbow on top and say, oh, I love you, dear self, dear narrator, dear everything that makes who I am. And release. Hands together in the OK sign. Bring those two OKs together. Release, chin down, gentle circles, gentle circles. Inhale deeply, exhale, and reverse directions. Inhale deeply, exhale completely. Sweet. Inhale, come to center. Bring your hands, interlace your hands behind your neck. Thumbs are pointing down, kind of massage on either side of your neck. And then feel like you're lifting your whole skull up. Yeah, up, 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 up. Sweet, and then just bring it up and out. Hands to your waist, clearing the inside of the barrel. Three, 2, 1, and reversing directions. Sweet. Coming through center, shake one leg out, shake the other, plant your right foot down, lift your left foot up. Warm up your kneecap. Hold it with your hand as if you have a second kneecap, and stir the kettle one direction and then the other. And then stir the teacup, just the ankle one direction, and then the other. And then if you feel like it, bring it back. I love that one. Shake it out. Take it to the other side. Plant your left foot up, bring your right knee up, warm it up. Hold that, stir the kettle. One direction and reverse. And just the teacup, just the ankle, one direction. And reverse. Whew. And then if you feel like it, so you see what I'm doing here, right? And release. Shake them both out. And come to center. As you walk to the front of your mat, look down at your feet and say, oh, my beloved feet, I appreciate you, I love you, you take me everywhere in the world. Let me go up and down steps. You help me go everywhere. Fan out the toes, press down, micro bend your knees, scoop the tailbone, and as you extend your knees, engage your quads. Invite the navel in. Inhale, float your ribcage up and away from your pelvic floor. Tuck your chin back, lengthening the back of the occipital ridge, lengthening up through the crown of your head. Invite the tip of your tongue to your upper palate and a gentle smile at the edges of your lips and the edges of your eyes. Inhale both hands to your heart. Returning to the point of origin. Feeling here with your eyes closed that you're gazing out to infinity. You're being in the middle of this universe. Gently tap your heart, inhale and open your eyes. And as you exhale, tell the motor system, I release any excess energy, I let it all go. Micro bending the knees. Inhale, both arms float above. Exhale, swan dive. Invite the crease of your hips back, fold over. When you arrive at 90 degrees, bend the knees, touch the mat. Say, ooh, nice. Here's my mat. Bring your hands to your shins. Inhale halfway up. You should be able to be looking at your toes now, so don't forget you're flattening out your toes. If you practice pressing down through the large toe and the pinky, float the 3 middle ones up. Hands push on the shins, navel in. You're inhaling as you tuck your chin, lengthening the rib cage and the dome of the skull away from the dome of the pelvic bowl. Exhale, bend your knees, inhale, reverse swan dive. Rising up like Christ, like Mary, up. Exhale, swan dive once again, and this time, as you bend your knees, hands come to the mat, step back, come into your down dog, only for a second as you inhale to table. Bring your knees to the ground, keep the toes tucked under, and come all the way back, bow to your practice. Elbows are still off the ground. You're pressing strong through the fingertips, rounding your shoulders away from the ears, wrapping your lats around the torso. Navel is up into the spine, tuck chin. Inhale, as you claw your mat, rise up to your jaguar and say, rawr. Open the top of your feet, lay it down, all the way down, and reach forward to serpent. Today especially, I want you to really embody the serpent, embody the motor system, feel it, say, let me see, sway in your body, feel your belly to belly with Mother Earth, roll all the way over to the right side, bend your left knee, open your left arm, say, oh. Nice, roll from center, take it all the way to the left, bend your right knee, right arm up, oh. Rotate that. And just stretch it out any way you like. It's like, oh, Saturday morning, I'm free. And then come back to serpent. Just feel it a little bit more. Let me hear you say, what does it mean to you? What if you were up in the theater and the director says, show me the best serpent that you can? How would you be that serpent? Serpent. And then bring your hands back under your shoulders. Come up to the table, get those jaguar claws in there and say, rawr. What? Say, rawr. Yeah, now the director is saying, show me your best version of a jaguar. Get those claws in there. See your fingernails going white and red. Get into the shoulder blade. Maybe for a moment you're going very slowly in the jungle, stalking your prey. And one shoulder blade on the other, and after the other is lifting up. And then both are going down. You're going down, shoulder blades up. And then you come up to look over the ferns to that prey. And then back, and then forward again. Tuck the toes under. You're getting those claws digging in. You're going back. You're ready to pounce on that prey. Give me your best jaguar version. Say, rawr. Inhale up through center. Wag your jaguar tail. Open your hips. Maybe even lift the toes, the feet off the ground. Sway the feet left and right. Feel that full hip movement. Beautiful. Come and sit back. Already coming into hummingbird. All the hummingbirds, like, oh, I'm collecting like a hug. All the nectar of all the flowers, bring it onto my solar plexus. And just bring it everywhere. Hummingbird. To see those wrists really like almost trembling, that sacred tremor, really moving the synovial fluid. It's a shake. You can almost feel your metatarsals shaking in that bone, in the meat. And then back. I mean, fill with sweetness everything that happened in the past. Show me your best version of hummingbird. You could go like this, you could go like this, you could go like, what hummingbird are you? Any way you want. Especially today, I want you to be the greatest actor. And as you sway back, full of that medicine, bring one foot forward, come up into your condor. Show me that opening, allowing that thermal. You need to do no effort. You're just allowing for the thermal to rise. And as you tilt forward, tuck the toes under, let that thermal carry you further up. And now just take it a little bit even off your mat. Take it for a nice, beautiful, beautiful. Oh my God, it's to show you the view. You're going to be up over the sacred valley of your own life and come to the center. Inhaling all the way up, pinkies up, shoulders slide down, open, and then turn the wrist, turn the shoulders, bow down. It's like the condor is taking a deep dive, bend the knees, and then inhale is coming up again. Let's do that 2 more times. Open, open, open. Bring the thumbs almost to touch each other. Exhale, close and deep dive. Turn, 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 turn. The pinkies turn. One more last one. Inhale up. Exhale down. What? Stick the tongue out. Say ha, ha. Inhale, condor rising. All the way up. Palms reach. Condor connects with the divine and bring that divine energy down to the crown of the head, the center of your forehead, nose, lips, and chin. And when your hands come to your heart, close your eyes and come within. Notice the contrast of all that movement and ways of engaging to pure stillness and silence. And drop your attention into the feeling sensation. What is happening now within you in the echo of the movements we did? What is happening? What are you feeling now? Inhale gently, very gently, as no one could see it. You're just gently tapping your heart. Tip of the tongue to the upper palate. You're inhaling, your eyes open. Exhale, release your hands very gently. You're telling the motor system, you don't need words for this. I let go of any excess energy. I just let it go. And almost feel it pouring out through the palm and the fingertips. Feel that excess pouring out. May have been coffee, may have been some alcohol a few days ago, it had been someone that upset you for good reason. And just flick it off. Interlace fingers. And then inhale up. Exhale, big circle. Nice. If you're not already there, once again, step to the front of your mat. We're going to look at your feet. You know when you look at someone across the other side of the road and because you're looking at them, you make them turn around? Your feet have consciousness. Make them say, oh, I'm watched. So look at the feet, fan out the toes, lift the 3 toes in the middle, micro bend the knees, inhale, rise. Connecting, you're pressing through Mother Earth to the lower world. You're reaching up to Intitaita to the upper world, and your heart is in the Jaguar space of the middle world we live in. Exhale, open your Viracocha. You're opening your luminous field. Bow forward from Intitaita to Pachamama. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, step back into your down dog. Look at your hands. Now bring the attention to your hands. They hold and they bring the world to you. Press the fingertips. As you squeeze by, round the shoulders away from the ears. It's almost like pointing the elbows down. Wrap your lats around the torso. Invite the navel in towards the spine and tuck your chin as if you're trying to look at the navel. Bicycle out the feet. And see if you can keep the shoulders almost equal and not moving while you're swaying the hips only. And then inhale your right foot up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your right foot forward between the hands, high lunge. Inhale and open your heart, and exhale, open the top of that foot. Inhale, eagle rises all the way up. Interlace fingers to steeple. Dance your shoulders, shoulder blades. Then as you come to the center, scoop your tailbone, lift the heart. Fan out the toes of your right foot, sinking into that right knee. Inhale, sternum up to God, as if there's a string right here, and it goes straight up to God. So you're rising up, you're lengthening the spine, and then you're arching back. You're like that new moon, a crescent moon. Inhale, up and back. Press the hips forward, lift the crown up, reach the hands back. Inhale one more time, rise to center. As you exhale, come and sit back onto your heel. See if you landed correctly. Where's the correct place? Let me redo that. The heel comes to the perineum. Nice, find that spot. From crown to perineum, we're creating the axis of the luminous field. Where's the center? It's in the heart. Inhale here. As you exhale, bow forward to reach to that right leg. Middle finger, pericardium, presses into the center. Kidney 1, right under the ball mound in the center. Thumb, lung, goes right in the middle of between the first toe and second toe. This is liver 2. Inhale here. Exhale, say ha, ha. And take a moment, you just, even with the fingers pressing here, you're already creating a circuit. Even with the heel pressing into the perineum, you're awakening Muladhara, you're awakening the fire within. Tucking your chin, feel that there's a straight line from the perineum where the heel is touching all the way up to the crown. Actually bring your left hand, middle finger right on top of the crown and kind of feel that circuit. From your middle finger all the way to the heel. Inhale. Exhale a little bit deeper into it. Nice. Inhale, look up, take that inhalation all the way to the front. Jaguar claws down. Put the toes of that back foot down. Step back into your down dog. Bicycle out the feet. Look at your hands. You're clawing the mat like a real jaguar. You're rounding your shoulders away from the ears. You're wrapping your lats around the torso. Inhale forward to plank. Take 100 push-ups. No, I'm just kidding. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Tuck the toes of your right foot under. Ha. Inhale, left foot up to the sky. Exhale, left foot forward between the hands. Bring that right knee down. Inhale, your condor takes flight all the way up. And again, dance the shoulders here, shoulder blades. Ha, ha, ha. Every time you move your body in different shapes, or asana postures, you're creating inner disturbances, pushing things out of the walls of the inner organs, and reintroducing them to the stream of blood. And then as you inhale, you clear that blood and you say, ha, ha, ha. Again, fan out the toes of the left foot, scoop the tailbone under, inhale, lengthen. Sink in that front knee. Your sternum is rising up to God. Tip of the tongue to the upper palate. Bring that smile in. It's not only that you're happy because we're the JaguarPath weekend, which is understandable, but it's also because we're rising, we're lifting, we're tapping into stomach 4 in the corners of the mouth. Turning up that digestive tract fire to burn old contracts and any toxins within the body. Inhale, rise. Exhale as you come and sit back all the way. Watch what I just did. I don't know if you noticed this. This side of mine today needs a block. Because I love motorcycles and I fell on this side. Inhale here. Exhale, bow forward. Middle finger comes to kidney 1 in the center under the ball mound. Thumb comes between the first and second toe, liver 2. Inhale, lengthen. Excuse me. Exhale, bow forward. Take a few breaths here. And again, a posture is not something we just do. It's breathing and exploring our way to it. So notice here if with each breath you can find more space. Notice if you want to move and rearrange the foundation. Notice if you want to adjust the foundation. Maybe, all right, after 7 months of working on it, I can come down to my heel. But again, notice I'm adjusting slowly, slowly. Again, finding the perineum so I can once again connect. And exhale a little deeper into it. One more inhale and exhale. Say ha, ha. Look up forward, inhale, rise. Take it all the way to the front. Tuck the toes of your right foot under. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, bring that left foot down next to the right. Bicycle out the feet. Sway the hips so you can find the equilibrium of the spine. Inhale, forward to plank. Another 100 push-ups. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, through table to hero. Heels are right in the center at this crease of the buttocks, at a UB meridian. Scoop tailbone, navel in, tuck chin. So I'm creating again the maximum space I can find between the crown of the head and the perineum. Tip of the tongue is what connects this line. So if my tongue is not touching the upper palate, I'm not really creating the circuit that I'm looking for. I'm not closing the circuit. Smile, lifting the tips of the edges of the mouth, awakens the fire within. And as you were here in hero, close your eyes, with your eyes closed. Return back to the origin. And as we're lovingly educating our narrator, notice, where did you return to? Are you returning back to something you were doing, thinking, something that was happening? Can you say, excuse me, we're not doing that right now for a second, beloved narrator, beloved all self. Be here and feeling and sensing the world. As we cultivate the shaman, slightly awaken, feel that you're like creating a little more hollow armpits, awakening that heart one meridian, and you're broadening your lats to the side. And as you're tucking your chin, inviting the navel in, you're expanding the center of your rib cage. The heart is opening. Kip over the tongue, feel up a palate, gentle smile. Flare out the nostrils. And as you inhale, part your heels out a little bit. So you're inviting both sides to open. So to feel that inhalation, come all the way to Muladhara. Exhale, tongue out. Say, ha. Open wide eyes like Kali. Say, ha. Inhale, hands to your heart, close your eyes, come within. Gaze out to the universe. Suspended, you're held by gods and goddesses. You're appreciated by the whole of humanity. You're the hero of this journey that you call your life. And lovingly, as you tap your heart to awaken that brave hero within, inhale and open your eyes, opening the heart's eyes, the brave heart, the lion heart, the jaguar heart. Inhale here, and as you exhale, open the palms and say, I release everything that doesn't serve me or humanity. Sometimes we get a lot of excess. It's okay. There's an overflow. We let it all go. Feel maybe gently wiggling the fingers if you could feel it trickling out. Any hucha, anything that's excess. And maybe shake it out like you had wet hands and you don't want to get your mat wet. Sweet. Inhale, come forward to Jaguar and say, rawr. Let me see you practice your Jaguar. I'm going to ask you to do this later today. So I want you to feel your shoulder blades. What does a Jaguar move like? If we all had to audition for a Jaguar part at a theater, what would you do? Get that practice because there's a lot of people applying for the job. So let's get this, feel it. Get your navel in, like you're crouching. Feel your Jaguar, nice. Lean forward, lift the toe feet off the ground, tuck the toes under, exhale, lift into your down dog. Inhale, your left foot up. As you exhale, bring your left foot forward between the hands, high lunge. Inhale and open your heart. Drop the right heel, right hand leads, inhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Set it up. Where do I set up a new home? From the foundation up. So fan out the toes, feel the texture of the mat under you. Sink into it. Look at that back foot. I'm going to overdo that. Watch my ankle sickle in. That's not what I want. I want to rotate over that ankle and press at the outer edge like a karate kick right back there. Yeah, my girl is saying, yeah. Scoop the tailbone under, sink into it. Fan out the toes, really press into the ball mount. As you scoop the tailbones, lift the rib cage, inhale, stare out through the middle finger, gaze over the middle finger, opening now your luminous field as an egg shape. Now it's on its side, so the pointy side is showing forward for days, or if you're more powerful for weeks, more powerful for months to come. Bring forward this, I am a warrior. What quality of feminine energy do you want to invite more into your life today? Give me a quality and see. Nina?
Sensuality.
Sensuality. A ho to that, yes. Other feminine, I will bring in nourishment. Find something and write it down. I'm going to ask you to share later. Sink into the posture, open your left palm, and invite a goddess into your life. I'm going to invite Magdalene. What are you inviting in?
Aphrodite.
Aphrodite, awesome for sensuality. Inhale here. Exhale, wheel it all the way down. May it come to earth, the quality and the goddess. Step back into your down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Sweet. Tuck your toes of the left foot under. Inhale, right foot up to the sky. And as you exhale, bring your right foot forward between the hands. Inhale and open your heart. Drop your left heel. Left hand leads. Watch the left. The feminine opens the masculine. The masculine will not open by itself. It needs the feminine. Foundation. Roll over that. Scoop it under. Inhale. Men and women alike. Soft shoulders. What's a masculine quality that you want to bring in more into your life? Nina?
Stillness.
Stillness, awesome. I'll bring in, because I'm building the sanctuary, action. They go together, the yin and yang, right? Sink into it, turn that right palm. As you sink into that front knee, inhale, open. What is the God that you want to bring into your life to help you cultivate that quality? Nina?
Shiva.
Shiva, awesome. I'll bring in Christ as the carpenter. Sink in more. Inhale and open. Exhale, wheel it all the way. May that quality and the God come here. Pivot on the toes. Step back. Down dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. Inhale, 1. Exhale. Sit back. You are a hero. Hands like a samurai are on your thighs. Your eyes are closed. Feel your heartbeat. And re-enter to feel the sensations. What is happening in the echo of this flow? What meridians, qualities, and virtues do we open our ability to? How are we educating our narrator from vocabulary to meridians corresponding, from meridians to the gods echoing? Navel is in, chin is tucked, tip of the tongue is in the upper palate. Flaring out the nostrils, each inhalation is a stream of prana that comes down the center core of the body, all the way to the perineum. And with each inhale, you can part your heels, opening that space to receive that breath all the way into your pelvic bowl, and closing that space as you tuck your chin to exhale up through the crown of your head. And rest here for a few moments in neutral, just sensing, marinating in the aftermath, the flow, what we call here shesha. The shesha of it. You're in this nectar of all this beautiful glands you've opened through that flow. From the pineal gland, all the way down to ovaries and prostate, 7 palaces open. In the center palace, the heart. Feel and listen to the bells, angel trumpets, and just notice. What are you feeling? Begin to bring your attention to noticing what you're feeling. Do not let thinking hijack you away from reality. We're feeling right now. What are you feeling? Not what are you thinking. Even asking the beloved narrator, hey, I want you to tell me a lot more in a bit. I want you to tell me all about how it was. So beloved narrator, bring your attention. What am I feeling in my navel as I'm inviting it into the spine? What am I feeling in the crown as I'm tucking the chin and lengthening for the divine light to awaken my halo? What does the tip of the tongue, beloved narrator, feel as it reaches up for the nectar of the full moon, the pituitary shining? What does it feel like to smile and bring in optimism, bring in that fire, the digestive tract, to burn old toxic emotions or any toxins from the body? What does it feel like, beloved narrator, to be? Stay in being. There's nothing to do. It is all here, right now. Watch the mind as it begins to veer off, because it's not trained to stay in noticing, but it's trained to stay in searching the past, or it's still influenced by triggers. Inhale, both your hands, your attention to your heart, inhaling, opening your eyes, and exhale, release, tell the body, and let it all go. Whatever it is, and letting go any excess energy that can trigger the brain to think, right? Inhale, come to forward, come to table, cross your shins behind you, roll back to find seated position, and scoot forward to the front of your mat. Come all the way to the front of your mat, so your large toes are barely almost off that mat. Bring your hands, if you part the flesh out from under you, find sits bones rooted. Hands come under your knee, under your knees, and right between those two tendons, bring middle finger and fourth finger, and start massaging the lymphatic system. I like it. What is it?
7 minutes.
I can't. Let it till it beeps. Massage there and allow for the lymphatic system to drain. And then inhale forward and fully. Say, round your back, press the navel in, tuck your chin, say, ha. Bring your tongue out like Kali, wide open eyes like Kali, bring out a tongue of flame, say, ha. Inhale, fully open, 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 open. More, breathe more. Exhale. Exhale, 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 exhale. More. Empty totally. Inhale. Wow, watch how much more space you have in there. And exhale. This time as you're exhaling, walk your feet back, lay your spine down nice and long, one vertebra at a time, before your head touches the ground. Interlace fingers behind the skull. Lift it up. Place it as far back as you can while you're tucking the chin. Place your head as far back as you can. Inhale, left knee up, followed by right interlace fingers over your shins. And now, as you squeeze thighs to belly, knees to heart, feel that inhalation. Feel how your sacrum is off the ground. Inhale all the way to your perineum. Say, notice how that inhalation opens, actually is opening space in the perineum and in the pelvic bowl. Exhale, release the squeeze, release the breath, lay your sacrum down nice and long. And if you need to readjust the placement of your head, lift your head, tuck the chin, lengthen the back of the neck. Close your eyes. Where are we at here? What are we doing? Whisper to your adrenals. Oh, my beloved adrenals. I'm safe now. Inhale and press adrenal area, the kidney adrenal area on the mat. And at the same time, whisper, sweet adrenals, we're totally safe. My beloved adrenals, it's all okay. Everything in the world is perfect. Watch your narrator. If your narrator's going to say that the world is not perfect. And if your narrator thinks this world is not perfect, let us know if there's another world anywhere close. So this is perfect. Feel it. Inhale. It's all okay. I'm safe. Sweet. We're safe now, sweet adrenals. Release the hands, bring your hands under your knees, and let's spread the great news across the whole spine. We're safe, spiraling back, rather, Rotating, inhale back, exhale forward with a ha, inhale back, exhale forward, ha, and let's come up into half shoulder stand as you inhale. Here, you want to lift your head, tuck your chin, lengthen up to the crown, and hold. Fan out the toes. You can be playful a little bit here and bicycle out the feet. So you want to bicycle, close that one knee as much as you can, followed by the other. It's like a huge, like your kid and you have this huge pedals. You want to squeeze the back of the knees. You got this pumps back there for the lymphatic system. And what we're doing here through this inversion is we're draining out the lymphatic system. And when you go up with both feet once again, rotate both ankles one direction. Awakening kidney meridian, then the other direction. Watch how the inward circle opens, the outside opening, spleen meridian. Point for stomach, flex for UB. Inhale and exhale, bring your feet over you, coming to plow. Bend your knees and gently unwind the spine and relax, sending your right foot gently to the right corner of the mat, left to the left corner of the mat. Fix your clothes, anything that might bother you from totally relaxing into your savasana. This is where the yogis, shamans once again meet. Lift the head, tuck the chin, lengthen to the back. Arms at 30 degrees. From the body, palms are facing up. Feet are splayed out. Take a deep inhale. Exhale with a sigh. Say, ha. Feel your shoulders melting. Savasana is a soul retrieval. Nothing you need to do with your mind, just let it all go. As we open and cleared out all 6 chakras through all these postures, as we're settling these chakras, like we do every night laying in bed, all the chakras, all the glands, 6 main glands can relax. There's nothing I need to bring up. No fear or courage, no sadness or happiness, no bravery or weakness. I just am. And when I am, the 7th gland awakens, the pineal gland, Jesus' halo, the Buddha's pine cone hair. And as you exhaust all thought, you let go of all thought, sink your shoulders a little bit more as if you're dropping in a little bit more. And chakra by chakra, step by step, I'm going to count from 7 to 1. 7, you're relaxing. The back of your head. 6, you're letting go to the shoulders heavier. As if you're going down this staircase, now you're on the 5th step. Walking down, coming to the 4th steps. 3, hips, back of thighs, back of knees. 2, your calves are softened. 1, your ankles are released. And you come down the staircase, 1 more step, and you're in a garden, the Garden of Eden. There is nothing you need to do in the garden, but feel you're walking through. There's nothing you've come here to take or leave. Everything that's happening as you walk around, look and see. Notice with a sensation of pleasure. Allowing your eyes to move as you step, and just being is the experience. Nothing you need to remember, or nothing you need to consciously exchange. You're in the Garden of Eden, where all is good. A happy stroll. Time is not of essence or worry. Space is infinite. The care that you are receiving with each breath, with the light of the sun, the earth's essence, is all the gods and goddesses, saints and avatars, leaning and giving you and your beautiful narrator a squeeze. Some of them are joking, saying, darn, you're sweet. Some of them give the deep work, saying, I trust you. I know you. Others say, we're here for you always. Others say, cheering along, you're the best. And almost like a dream within a dream, you're going deeper into space of the essence of being in the center of your heart, where no time or space nothing other than consciousness exists. Consciousness, awareness, being. Asclepius is present, and his beloved serpent of DNA, serpent of healing, is giving you medicine in every point and space you need it most. You have been visited by Asclepius, and all the cells of your body know this renowned name of the God of healing. And all your cells are buzzing, awakening the mitochondria, exchanging, discarding what they need to discard, making the big exchanges, offering back what they don't want and receiving the nourishment. Coming all the way to awaken every cell, awaken yourself in this present moment to the biggest exchange of all as you flare out your nostrils. Inhale, a stream of prana, fan out your toes, fan out your fingers, stretch the skin of your palms. Exhale, curl your toes, squeeze, exhale, 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 the big exchange. Carbon dioxide out, inhale again, fan out the toes, fan out your fingers, stretch. And this time, if you want to, inhale your arms over your head, point your toes straight forward, maybe make a little sound, and gently walk your feet back so to bend the knees, scoot your hips to one side so you can turn over to a fetal position, extending one arm above so the bicep becomes your pillow, the other hand in front of you, stoically, as if you're on the top of a big whale, and you are in Pachamama,
Feel you're on earth and you're holding your palm right on her back, or on her heart, or on her navel. I love you, Pachamama. And through this exchange and through this balance of practice, I'm reborn now after that death of those parts of me that served me so well till now, but need to leave so I can move, rise, and evolve. And feel this moment, the couple of breaths here in this space of rebirth. If there's any sensation, thought, or emotion that came up in practice that serves you in your next chapter. Maybe it was a word, a sentence that stood out. And just repeat it to yourself. Maybe it was that word or that quality you want to bring, the masculine or the feminine. Maybe it was the goddess. And just as you're feeling and thinking that word or that sentence, notice it move through your whole body as consciousness of the whole body, not the brain as an organ, but the whole body as a network of your true reality. And gently, as you press the hand that's on Pachamama, extend that top leg out, push, and inhale, come up to seated. And as you come up to seated, you can reach for your block, cushion, or on the mat, your choice. Coming into Sukhasana, easy pose. You can reach under you, move the flesh out from under you. Find the sits bones plugging in Mother Earth. Gently scoop the tailbone so your tailbone is pointing to the center of the earth. Invite your navel in to the center of your earth, your body. Lift the rib cage up as you tuck your chin. The crown of the head points to the center of the heavens. So as you're rooting through Muladhara, the first chakra, all the way down to the earth, you are earth. As you're reaching up from the crown of your head all the way up to the heavens, you are the god, the goddess. Open your anahata, the middle world. The heart is here to serve this world. The heart is the greatest navigator. Wide shoulders, hollowed out armpits, wide collarbones, tip of the tongue to the upper palate, and a smile that says, I am. I am. I am consciousness, awareness. With your eyes closed, stay here and keep on returning, and to give the mind something to do, keep on saying, I am. I am. Consciousness, awareness. Let's do that one more time. I am. Satnam, I am. Consciousness, awareness. Feel as if you're floating, as if you're hovering 3 feet off the ground. Inhale your hands to your heart in Anjali Mudra. Bow your chin to your heart and thank yourself. Thank you, my dear self, my whole human being. Thank you, beloved narrator, my beloved storyteller. Thank you, my ancient self, connected through lineages of centuries of humanity, of this species. Thank you, other species that I've been. Thank you, dear self, now. It is an aware and conscious being bowing to any god or goddess. A bow to Shakti Kali and to Shiva and Hanuman. A bow to Christ as he walked with Magdalene. And gently inhale and rise and open your eyes. And exhale. Namaste. 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 Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I can't even tell you the gratitude I feel.
it is so awesome to be motivated to always be coming back into the mat. And those of you who have been practicing with me for over a decade, oh, I forgot my glasses. I can see, I have seen the light. So let's come forward a little bit. We're doing the time perfect. All right. How was that?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Namaste. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, as much as we did.
Yeah.
Where shall we go from here, my goddess?
We shall honor the physical body with a little bit of a break.
Okay.
So we'll take 15 minutes to just transition. If you wrote a word down for the feminine and the masculine and a god and a goddess, you want to just bring those into the chat so that when we come back, we can all connect with the wisdom, the healing, the magic of what you want to bring into the space, to the circle.
And we'll touch a little bit on that. What are those qualities, the virtues? What are the gods and the goddesses? And then we'll go into a share for the morning.
Perfect. So 15 minutes, we'll be right back. Thank you.
Namaste, Horpichai.
Perfect.
Welcome back. Welcome
Come on,
back.
Jaguars. I see some of you jumping on that weren't with us earlier. I'm really excited.
Back on.
Our beloved. Do you want to say anything about it?
You can, of course. This is about consciousness protecting the luminous field.
Our beloved Andrea Nee.
As you guys come in slowly. Yeah, Nina wants to share something about our beloved Andrea Nee on the on the spotlight. Hope you're blushing, Andrea Nee. I know how to do this, to have both that and us together.
I know.
Guess it's not possible.
You can't see the blueness because of
If you go out for a second, go out, and then So welcome. Is everyone here? Everyone is here.
Everyone that's here is definitely here.
Just as a couple more people are coming in, and because we've started a sentence, we have here what's called the evil eye. Several of you have come to Greece. This goes all the way from the Middle East all the way up to Greece. And the eye, should I say, or you would like to?
Please say, because I'm still learning.
I'm still learning too. I'm still learning. The eye, it's called the evil eye, but it's a bad.
Look, the gifts.
It's a bad. There you go. Show us.
Where's Andrea Nee?
Andrea Nee, give us some more. There she is. Wave and say hi. Andrea Nee, that is a neighbor here and is an amazing Pilates instructor and very healer generous. And an amazing, generous being. Gave us these so we could be protected. So I think it's a bad translation that they named it because it's called Mati. It's called the eye. Not evil or good or anything. It's the eye, which represents consciousness. And when I have the eye, it's like the eye of God God has his or her eyes on me. That allows for my whole luminous field to expand. So anything coming from the outside that is not love can't enter into my sphere, into my luminous field, or my whole being, and my endocrine identity, or meridians. With that said, I think everyone is here.
Thank you, Andrea Nee. We were both gifted these yesterday for the first day of March, and I didn't know, this is a new tradition. I feel like I don't know if it's every week, at least every month, there's a holiday or a celebration.
It's every week.
Or some reason to love each other. So I feel like I just received so many gifts.
There's a lot of saints we celebrate here. There's always once a week, at least once a month, that you don't have to go to work or school.
And there's some reason that everyone's bringing sweets or gifts, or I love Greece for that.
Yeah. We could talk about that more. Let's come back to us, and we'll come back to this too when we come back. Where are you taking us?
I am taking us on a wild journey. No, we have some excellent contributions from the community. I just want to share from yoga today. And I'm just, as I go into the chat, I'm still learning how to pronounce where.
What is the name and the city, town you are moving to? We live in Vivari, which is Latin vivarium, the container of life. We're moving 20 minutes away to Asclepius, the town of Asclepius. The town has the name of the god because this whole sanctuary is there, and the whole valley that surrounds it has that same name.
Yes.
Asclepius.
So awesome question.
Just to finish this to say is like, if you want to look it up, look up Epidavros, Epidorus, where the Epidoric shot comes from. That is from here to Epidorus. And there you will see the whole sanctuary. And I'll talk more about it in a bit later.
So from class, we have the masculine and feminine qualities that you all shared. So from Kat, wisdom in action. And thank you for the compliment to Ray for being a super class, I agree. Greece, goddess of justice. And
Themis.
And the Greek god of war, Ares, from Julie. Thank you, Julie.
Awesome.
Creativity and Shakti from Melinda, and manifesting with Shiva.
Right
awesome.
On, guys.
Right on
to understand the masculine and feminine.
Chris, I love
awesome.
I love this, Chris. Flow and focus with Mary Magdalene. I'm feeling that right in the center of my heart. Thank you. Sensuality and solidity, Davy.
Fantastic, Davy. Awesome.
Yes,
masculine and feminine.
And the goddess Davy. Lakshmi and Rudra.
More, for Lakshmi for sensuality, Rudra for solidity. That's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Mark Lafka, acceptance and assertiveness. Right on.
Thank you, Mark. That is beautiful.
Do you guys feel the power of these words? Are you feeling them? Sometimes it's like an arrow to the heart. So really feeling, because this weekend we're talking about words. Emmy, the Buddha and knowledge, and Luna, wisdom.
Beloved moon, La Luna.
La Luna.
Awesome.
And Tammy, Elpis, personification and hope. Excellent.
Elpis and hope. Elpis, Elpis, correct, Tammy? Or is it translated as Elpis? I think Elpis would be the Greek. Okay. Thank you.
These guys are absolutely related.
Way back.
I love it. And Dilla, thank you for sharing for feminine, tenderness, and for masculine, follow through.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Right on.
Follow through. Hear that? Masculine.
So we will shift into really sacred time and space with the mentors. Dilla, Emmy, Davy, thank you for your wisdom, for your capacity to hold sacred space for all of us. I will offer us time in the breakout rooms to really talk about and to share and to discuss the gifts, the blessings of the yoga practice. Noticing how you felt before, during, and after. There is every experience we have in life, as shamans, we want to distill into wisdom. And so how can we distill the experience of our yoga practice into wisdom? Okay. And as you get the spotlight on you and you have your moments to share, just let it flow. Don't think about it. Just like let whatever comes out come out, and you can't say anything wrong. And I just also want to say the importance of community. As I will share for a moment, in the last 4 years of kind of having this opportunity to connect with different communities, to build community, to feel our Jaguar Path coming online in this new way. How can each one of us step forward and be a key element in this community? How can your presence contribute? The way you contribute for yourself and for others is by your presence. So having your camera on, speaking from your heart, letting go of right and wrong, like don't worry about it. And remember that you are a gift, and what you are saying may be the exact tonic that someone else needs to hear. So don't hold back. All right. We have, I want to say 20 minutes. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
20 minutes. There's about 8 people in each group.
20 minutes.
Yeah. So mentors, of course, do your magic with the time expansion and shrinking as needed, and then we'll bring everyone back in 20 minutes, okay? Enjoy. I hope everyone's able to join the groups because this is one of the most potent opportunities to connect with one another. All right, we'll see you in 20 minutes.
Horpichai.
Horpichai.
Hear us? Welcome back. All right. Lead us.
Okay, so how was that? We get some nice connections. Awesome. I love that, Julie. That was perfectly timed.
I missed it. So
She's got like, did you see that? Everyone else see that? Anyway, that was beautiful. There's fireworks and sparkles.
I
Emmy,
swear I didn't do that. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know. Did someone do that?
Welcome to the world of shamanism.
It was really cool, whatever you did.
Yeah, let's have our mentors share
Yes.
and let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear kind of a summary of what your experience was. And Emmy.
Sure. And I will say, while we were talking, Julie, you also had balloons floating. So there's a celebration of you today.
Elevation.
Okay.
All different colors. It was fabulous. Anyways, it was interesting. Most people were feeling a lot of release and centering and find calming and being more gentle with themselves and stillness, returning to their heart center and breath. But there was also a sharing of the opposite, of somebody embracing this intense energy focus. So the intensity and the strength of what was coming into them, and really grateful for it, rather than that soft sort of, letting go and releasing. A lot of recognition of the physical body, and kudos to them for recognizing their recognizing the limitations of their body in certain movements and allowing themselves to come out earlier or to make some shift to protect themselves. So great yoga practice there. Yeah. So I think that pretty much covers the
Beautiful.
conversations we had, and harnessing energy was another thing. So
Thank you, Emmy.
Beautiful. Horpichai.
Horpichai. Beloved Dilla, would you mind sharing?
Of course, I'd love to share. So the shares started kind of shorter shares, and then we had an opportunity at the end for them to open up a little bit more. But I saw this kind of spectrum. It was like tired, stressed, stuck, and numb, to more centered, really into the stillness. My group, stillness came up over and over, and it just came up with Emmy too. So potent need, I think, and feeling that realigned and more aware. Big shifts, I would say. And when I felt everyone really spoke to also making it their own, including one of the people in the group that just needed to rest and just took care of themselves by just letting themselves get that extra bit of sleep that they needed. So I feel like that's good inner shamanism, good inner healing and care.
It is. I know.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Horpichai.
Horpichai.
Awesome. That's discernment, to know when to effort and know when to rest.
Yes. Surrender.
Davy.
Hi. I would say that in our group, we had kind of a theme. People's different stories were a little bit different, what they reported, but really around honoring ourself, whether it's in the yoga practice and backing off instead of pushing, and noticing that usually, one might push but then feel bad afterwards in the body, and being okay with coming back. or with getting extra sleep this morning, just like in Dilla's group, and honoring, what, I really need that sleep. I've had a lot of transitions, and even, my space isn't set up for yoga, so I'll do my own stretching here that honors where I am. And then, really honoring ourselves through transitions and things that are coming up. We noticed in our group, several people talked about running into energy, in the stores of people being nasty, or the tendency that people are coming at wanting more and not being nice to people when the person is saying no. And kind of how do you integrate that in life, right? Being sort of working on shaman practices and stuff that's coming up. So exactly, that's what we talked about. That's what's coming up. So it's not happening to us, it's happening for us, in a way to integrate the practices. Two questions came up. One was exactly that. How do you integrate practices? So if there's time to talk about that, I said I'd bring it up. The powerful practices, how are people integrating those in their life? Oh, and I also want to bring up, one person had a contemplation that came up for her at the end of yoga practice today, where she heard how to heal feminine energy. How do you heal your feminine energy? And so I'd like to offer that as a contemplation to people also, how do you heal? Because I don't think it's one thing that you do, right? I think we all have to find our way into healing the feminine, but yeah. How are we going to do that as a
I want to say
group? And
both awesome
Jesus.
questions, and we're definitely going to get to them today.
I know Ray wants to dive in, but before you do,
I don't know why you say that. That's my pizza, my fire.
And I see Emmy too. One moment, Emmy, I'm just gonna slide in a couple feelings in response.
Thank you, Davy.
And Davy, thank you. Horpi Chai. If you were in my Tai Chi for Vitality class, the series that I'm offering, we were talking about, this is the year of the wood dragon, and the element of wood is like wind. And so I'm hearing from a lot of people, and it sounds like in the group it came up as well, this sensation of irritability. Anyone feeling a little bit extra irritability lately? And even if it's not yours, sensing it externally. And so the dragon reminds us that we can turn that irritability into an iridescent pearl, right? So the process of how a pearl is formed is through irritation. And so this is an opportunity for us to say, okay, I want to polish my spirit. And this is an opportunity for me to breathe through this moment, and Ray says this all the time, open my heart, expand in the heart space, and just hold love, just holding that energy of love in the space of irritation, right? Because dragon does, there's a lot of irritation that's gonna likely come up this year. And if you're sensitive to energies, it's already surfacing. And so in that space of the winds of change and irritation, getting rooted into that stillness. And it sounds like people are craving that. And that was a common theme through the groups. So I just wanted to tie that together.
Absolutely beautiful. And Emmy, is there something you wanted to add, I think, before I share?
Yes, I just wanted to say as well that there is a great appreciation for your guidance through the practice with your explanation and your detail of bringing us through the practice. Yeah, so I didn't want to miss that.
Thank you, Emmy, and thank you all who shared that and received it. Absolutely, and I want to say that, and that's what I want to speak to. That there's a deep understanding of what really made the Jaguar Path to begin with was the aha that I had when I started talking to the shamans, when I started talking with Don Francisco and Don Manuel, who were the first two, and then Sebastian, Maestro Panduro, etc., Bernardina, and Juanita. I'm going to just say those as my major beloved ones. And what I mean by that, and what this middle of our training, it's crazy. We're in the middle of the training. At the end of the day today, we're in midpoint. But and in one way, we're now beginning the training. Now we're going to the deep stuff.
Now we begin.
Now we begin. Now begins the practice of yoga. But what I understood is the aha for me is that the yogis and the shamans are talking about the same thing, right? They started talking about Munai, Yachai, Yankai, and then I realized they're talking about mind, body, spirit. And like yoga talks about that, serpent, jaguar, condor, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. It's like all these triads that bring in the existence of life. So when I started going back to yoga, because I was already a good 6 years into yoga and already teaching, actually it's a Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health at the time when I was working with the shaman. So I came back, continued teaching, but dove deeper back into the Yoga Sutras and all the texts that I was reading at the time, and kind of still am, and looking at it through a shaman's eye. And I'm realizing, so what I really connected here was not the yogis and the shamans. At the end, looking down 20 years later, it's like, was the body and the mind. It's like, and coming to understand that yoga addresses the body in the sense that it taps into the motor system, the nervous system, the motor system of the body. And if it's just like sending a signal backwards through a wire. It's like almost the music comes from the amplifier and goes out to the speaker. Now I'm putting in an input to the speaker and I'm sending back signals to the amplifier. The amplifier being the center of maybe my nervous system, not maybe, the center of my nervous system and my whole being. So in other words, and say all that again in one sentence, is like everything you feel and the average place where you sit, and it's like if you put in, like, let's say we'll give an exercise that one time every hour, you write down through the whole day, where were you at? Were you feeling sad, happy, angry, medium, absent-minded? And every hour, write that down. And you'll notice that you have a pattern. And that's the average you. That's where you idle. Like you're standing somewhere, nothing's happening, and your engine is on. You're not asleep when you're just hanging out. You're there. What is coursing through your veins? What is the average place you live in? Do you live in more happiness, more this, more anger, more sadness, more? Where do you live? Mostly. And that essentially kind of like denotes what your personality is, where your personality is at, who you are, right? What it's like when something happens in your life, where does it find you? Because if I'm average every hour, I'm saying, oh, like I'm finding myself angry every hour. It's just like, and then someone steps on my toe. Well, guess what? I'm going to yell at them because I was already there. It wasn't the fact that they stepped on my toe. Right? It's like there's this thing going around on Facebook that I actually liked. It says, if someone pushes you and you spill your coffee, whose fault was it that you spilled the coffee? You were holding the coffee. The coffee is what you're at, right? Because if they push someone else, they'll spill tea or orange juice. It's like, what are you ready to bring up? What is right there at the brim waiting to be expressed? So if you give me 1 minute to finish this, because that is like, thank you. So we're going to bring together today, talking about absolutely about the mind and understanding, and to close that why my yoga is that there's like a lot of talking in the yoga, because it's important to understand what I'm doing, because I know forever, and maybe you feel the same. Like I've been doing yoga for 23, going to 24 years now. The first many years I was like, and I was doing this and this, and I was like, oh, I'm like changing the oil on my motorcycle. I'm going out to lunch. Oh, I'm going to tell that so-and-so person, I'm going to send them an email. Anyone else ever do that in yoga? No, just Kimberly and, okay, all right, a few more. A few more. That's what the mind does. Again, we're not going to start shaking the narrator. It's like, what do you do? That's what the narrator does. We'll talk about that. So we're training, talking about how to even, in that question, how do we heal the feminine? Or how do we heal the masculine? How do we heal our narrator? Is that we begin to become aware. We begin to have that eye, that eye of witness. We begin to cultivate, I'm noticing what I'm thinking. rather than this, I'm going to call it out, Western mentality of I'm noticing what everyone else is doing and I'm always pointing out. It's like, well, you did that and you did that. And like, whoa, stop. So turn that finger. Now begins the practice of yoga. I have not come here, and none of us has come here to change the world. Billions of people have passed through this planet. And all of those who tried to do that are the ones that begin wars. And to me, the deepest prayer that I have every day, the prayer that I have every day is for war to end. And war is not going to end if I don't end it myself. The war begins inside me, inside every one of us. It's not something happening outside. Remember what I said earlier? We're like, if there's war inside me, there's going to be war in Palestine, there's going to be war in Ukraine. The war is not happening in Ukraine or Palestine. It's happening in here, and I can see it out there. If every single one of us begins to say, okay, as a human being, what am I doing on the planet? And we're more seeking peace and expansion, then I'll be seeing that outside. I'll be seeing this amazing movement in Palestine. I will see Palestine and Israel are creating these beautiful forests in Africa. Ukraine and Russia are building these solar panels to give free power to all of Europe. You'll hear other things than what you're hearing now. So now there's a limitation of the ego, and just to close it, to see like how individual and universal it is, we come back and we're going to look and see through this weekend understanding of my body language. How can I use yoga and Tai Chi through changing my body language, sending the signal back to begin to change some so far established, what we believe as established realities. Like I hear it and I'm like, I look at it and I kind of chuckle and on one side and cry on the other. It's just like, well, war is inevitable. It's like,
Why?
who said that and why are you posting that? It's like, how is that a reality? It can be debated. There's a lot to be talked about, and we will talk a little bit about to understand what that means. So first of all, to find peace within, because everything else, like who we're going to tell the Russians, or we're going to tell the Ukrainians, that's all like, excuse my language, it's crap. It's like, it's a whole old story of the Neanderthal. It's like, no, I'm going to take that and I'm going to hit you and I'm going to take it. It's like zero evolution. And in this training, we're seeking evolution, right? And we're sharing evolution. And I want to share that piece. And that piece is automatically, by nature, will be that once I find more peace inside me, it's going to be mirrored in my body language. People say, oh, you walk differently. And maybe they can't see it because they're thinking too much, so they can't see that. But they'll say, what have you done with your hair? Something, done something. It's really nice. They can't get it, what they're seeing. But what they're really seeing is you evolving and changing through your whole flow of how you talk, how you move. And that, and I'll close here because I know we're headed towards, I can feel the dragon next to me, wanting to use the restroom. It's just like, once I change my motor system, I begin to walk differently. When I walk into a space, different things happen, right? I mean, depending on how I walk into the space, that's what's going to happen. So as we come into this piece, today we were in front of another miracle. We were gifted, we were given a loan, an indefinite loan, of a 6-foot marble statue of Asclepius for our house. We went to the shop to buy it, and he said,
He's like,
I'll lend it to you. He
it
said,
should be in that house.
It should be in your house. I'm like, I am humbled. I am
He said,
grateful.
I might need to borrow it though.
He said, I might borrow it every now and then. I'm like, we'll lend it. We'll think about it. No, I said, of course. And that's just an example. Of course, I fell with a motorcycle too. Where was I at when I fell? Like, when do I begin to now navigate life and notice how I assume responsibility for everything that's happening outside? So all the good things that are happening, I am grateful to, because I am not the God, I am the receiver. And all the bad things, I'm like, that's pointing out. It's like, that's an irritation that's pushing me to an edge where I need to evolve. Like Nina said really well, it's like the pearls happen in the shell from an irritation of sand, and the irritation creates the pearl. And how can I come from that being a Confucius idea of philosophy to actually feel it in my body, like get those neural pathways to be like, I get it. So when someone cuts me off or someone insults me, it's like, instead of pointing out, see where I can grow, because we're not here to change the world.
And I want to say the irritation offers us the opportunity to be present. And when we're present, we let go of that copy and paste, right? There's so much in the collective of these like words, these phrases that you just hear
Cliches, yeah.
over and over and over. And it's kind of, just say with love, it's like, it's a cop out. Like, are you here? Are you awake? Are you present? Where is your consciousness? And when we have the dragon bringing in this agitation, this irritation, it's like, are you here? Are you present? Are you awake? And when we can come to and feel ourselves here and now,
the world
right
changes.
now, you can respond from that space rather than just saying the same copy and paste that you've heard. And it's just almost like the same conversation with, it's like over and over. And there's no evolution in that. And I think we've all witnessed it in others. And I've heard it from many of you individually. And I feel like in the collective as well, is like, I just can't have those conversations anymore. I just can't be in those environments anymore. I need more depth. I want more presence. Anyone else started, especially with this 9-month process of moving through this transformation, it becomes more and more apparent that it's just like, wow, like you said the same thing that you said last Christmas, the same, like the same, you said the same
every
chair,
Thanksgiving and every Christmas
same,
and every Easter.
And even eating the same thing, saying the same thing.
And for the narrator is, I repeat myself, so therefore I am. If I say something every Christmas or every Thanksgiving, then I'm like, yay! I'm like, oh, I'm here. That's
who I am.
A petty acknowledgement, right, of the self. Now, and it is all good. Like again, I said, like the beloved self who was 7, or the silly self who was 16, and the awkward 21-year-old, and like all the things we've been, right? And that inside that center, that nice, beautiful string, that is the soul who goes through the process of the maturing of the physical body itself, and all the different hormonal stages and endocrine identities, alignments and misalignments, along with, like you very well said, with how I'm copying out and copying what everyone else is saying, and kind of like trying to belong. And thus trying to belong, so I'm not exercised out of the community. I just sell out myself. Yeah. And again, that's another phase that I could have been in, and is great. And actually also, it's just like, it's still like we go, how do I begin to be aware of all that? Because on one hand, we're alone here with a C, or we were in the jungle and we're with Asclepius, but also we head into town. We're like, hey, let's go to town. Let's go and see what's happening with the samsara. What is everybody copy pasting? It's like, hey, let's have a glass of wine, It's life, all of life has to be holistic, and holistic means all encompassing. But how do I find my rudder? Through all of that, my most mundane self, when I'm talking and I go out and I hang out with these mechanics that with motorcycles, and we talk about exhaust pipes. It's like, who cares? God doesn't care. Yet it's something that's fun for me, and I know it's or my boat or this or that, all the way to our deep meditation in the temple. All that is
Full
life.
range.
All that is life, and the separation needs to cease. Any war needs to cease. I need to be holistic, right? So, with that said, so we don't have pressure from our bladder.
Well, I think
Irritation.
we're all ready. I feel like the Jaguars are ready to eat. Let's take a nice long lunch break. We went about 15 minutes over, so we'll start at 1:15 Eastern time. For us in Greece, it'll be 8:15. So we will see you guys in an hour and a half.
Please.
I was going to say, enjoy your lunch.
Enjoy your lunch. And please take a moment as you're having lunch, if you have a piece of paper next to you, it's like, is there any questions or thoughts around all of this? Because again, the training is all of us together. So what are you coming back with? It's just like, well, I'm thinking that, or I wonder that, whatever it is. So We're going to come back and we're going to jump into an awesome tool. I am super stoked. There's a really, really awesome tool that will give major change and shift in your life immediately. And I can't wait.
All right. We'll see you at 15 past the hour. We love you guys.
Horpichai.
Horpichai.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey, hey.
Welcome.
Jaguars, our bellies full. We feel satisfied. We got some rest. Got some things taken care of, I hope.
Jaguars love having full bellies. They purr better with full bellies.
I think so.
And today was so hard for us. We had such good food. It was hard not to eat like the whole pot, the whole tray.
It was so good.
right,
I hope you
welcome.
guys had something yummy also and nutritious. Wonderful.
Okay, cool. Welcome back. You want to lead us?
Yes.
You want to lead the way?
Yes. I always find that it's nice to transition from whatever you are doing to this time together with a bit of a meditation. And it's excellent because we have our guide stone. We have our guide stone initiation. So I see some of us have them. Some of us are going, oh, let me grab that. Or if you're like, totally forgot to get a guide stone for this weekend. Don't worry, we're recording this. You can go back and do it when it works for you. Whether you have your stone or not, join us in the meditation and the initiation. And it was beautiful when Don Wilbert was with us last session. We talked about the stone a little bit, and he was like, yeah, like the stone finds you, and then there's like a cleansing, there's a connecting, there's that sacred ceremony that we want to offer. And this is as much to honor the stone as it is to honor yourself as a Pampa Messiah. Remember, timelines are merged in shamanism. So past, present, and future all come together in the now. So as you walk the path of becoming a Pampa Messiah, right? You already are. So this is an opportunity to really honor the process. So I see more and more of us coming online.
Do you want to dive in, or do you want to do this and then dive in?
I want to do all of it.
All of it. Everything's merging, right? Okay.
I want to do it all of it. So much abundance. So yeah, and I see a few of you still jumping in. Wanted to take a moment because Ray and I love to just be jaguars, which means like any box that we get put in, we like to jump out of, pounce in, pounce out. Structure is excellent, and I feel
spontaneity rocks.
Yeah, and structure is for us to have a vehicle or a container for our energy to flow in. And so this weekend, we have our 5th session of our 9-month training. We also have our monthly shaman circle. This is something that is relatively new. We began in January. The first Sunday of the month, we open our community, our hearts up to the rest of our tribe. So from 10:30 to 11:30 on Sundays, the first Sunday of the month, which is tomorrow, we will have the shaman circle. So instead of doing our share in our tight circle, we're just opening it to the larger community.
Opening the box.
Busting out of the box. So we'll meet together for our Tai Chi practice. I'm so looking forward to sharing Tai Chi because the last session, we had the elders with us. And so we'll do our Tai Chi practice. We'll end in time to have a 15-minute break, and then we'll go into the shaman circle. Tonight, you will receive, whether you've registered for Shaman Circle or not, you will receive the Zoom link tonight in your email. You'll also get a live in 25 before Shaman Circle, so at 10:05 Eastern Time. If you're not receiving our group emails, please reach out to us. There's a couple of us that we've been in these conversations, and we're trying to get the platform that we use to make sure everyone's receiving the group emails. And I'm wanting to say that because we've been on this platform for 4 years, and this is a new kind of, I like how Kat calls it, she says the digital gremlins at play. I just love that. There's some wires crossed or not connected. There's something going on with 4 people in the group, just 4 of you. Yeah. So I just want to make sure I'm seeing, yes.
Maybe if you have not received the email that was sent out on Monday, which is always sent out the Monday before the weekend session, If you could put your email in the chat, and then beloved Kat can pick that up, and we could see how much we could try more to solve it, or just
Yeah.
make sure you get everything.
So we will log out of the shamanic training Zoom, and you will log back in after the break, after the 15-minute break. And we'll say this again tomorrow, and we'll have it in the email. You'll log in with the Shaman Circle Zoom link. After the Shaman Circle, you'll go to lunch, and we'll return for our afternoon session at 1:00. Okay. And just to keep you on your toes, because we're Jaguars and we're flexible. And we want to really honor the Shaman Circle. So if there's anyone in your circle, in your reality, that you think maybe would enjoy just listening in, being part of something that's out of the box, it's a little bit different, please feel free to share the Zoom link. We have it on social media. We have it on our website for people to register. But let's get our tribe together from the past.
Find out another way of being tomorrow.
Yeah.
In that share circle, I will ask you to share. It's like, how does shamanism really apply in everyday life? How have you found already that it's shifting and your perception and your perspective in life and how you move?
Right. Just writing down something real quick.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it.
I will also just share, for those of you who did not see, I want to share my screen with a picture from our new house.
This is the view from the Avaton.
This is our new house. You can see it right here. And this is the temple of the Avaton, where the meditations would happen. I won't open that box right now. It is absolutely shamanic practice. Serpents were absolutely involved in all of it. And in this context of our work together, something we got that's going to be embedded in one of the walls of the house. We see here, excuse me, this is Hippocrates giving medicine, healing to someone, and his assistant and the serpent giving the medicine. Mm-hmm. So very familiar for those who you are familiar with shamanic ceremony. There's the frog venom, there's ayahuasca, which is always described as a serpent. That enters, and the person in bed is purging, is up to the side purging, vomiting out whatever it was that was poison in the system. And again, we're psyched to be opening this. And as a last thing, we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about what's coming up. But what I find is that where I discovered that yoga and shamanism is the same, I begin to look at all these ancient healing schools, and they're all shamanic, and they all, of course, converge the same ideas because they have the ability to move outside of the body and understand the bigger reality. And the descriptions are through and through the same, from the Taoists in China to the shamans in Peru to the sages of yoga, India, etc. And
the question of when can we visit? We will be actually having the retreat at the end of August 30th to September 6th. We will be going to the house to do a ceremony, a despacho giving thanks ceremony as part of the retreat. We'll also be going to the theater, which is...
Oh, I think, may I?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're extending this instead of saying this tomorrow. Many years we book hotels and we have people. We decided to make something a little smaller and a lot more intimate. So instead of doing a hotel, we're going to open our home, the home we rent, and next door there's a sister same villa with the view of the sea and of the islands.
It's called Avaton Blue.
So we're opening our home for that retreat September 30th to the 6th. Anyone comes will be coming to stay with us in our home, and we'll be going through the routine of our usual day, which also includes yoga, tai chi, massage, and swimming, and going to the temples. There's something else I was going to say about that. It will come. Oh, And something that is spectacular, I have no other word for it, is that on August 31st, there is going to be, I'm like 99.99% sure, is going to be the last play, because the theater that we talk about that is in there in Epidavros, which seats 16,000 people, is intact, is as it was 2,500 years ago.
Unbelievable.
And to see a play there, for me, I'm feeling it. I've seen plays, 100 plays there, and I'm just ecstatic that we will be walking to the theater and watching. So those of you who come to that retreat, we will also have the opportunity to see a play live, an ancient Greek play, meaning that these things were written back then, especially to be played at this theater. And 2,500 years later, we're still able, and when it comes to and the Greeks, to see the same ideas and see these plays played out. So,
and we have 4 rooms remaining. So if you're thinking about it, reach out to us, because there's 4 rooms that are available for that experience.
awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for the parenthesis with the housekeeping. It's like essential to.
Let's all take a deep breath. Let it all go. And take hold of your guide stone. Our guide stone connects us with our spirit guides, our allies in the spirit realm. This is to remind us that we don't walk alone. And if there's any part of us that doesn't feel in the space of full alignment, we can hold this stone and feel the presence of our allies and really return to our center to feel that absolute truth. And so this stone is going to support us as we move into this weekend's tools, as really just the weight, just feeling the gravity of the stone to feel the presence of your allies. And this is unique to each one of us, right? It could be a spirit guide as far as a god, goddess, or avatar. It could be an animal for you. Whatever it is, this stone is like that connection, that portal, that material manifested expression. So with that, find your way into a comfortable position. Remember, jaguars can get comfortable anywhere. So without rigidity, feel yourself just starting to shift into this space of meditation. Let your eyes softly close, tongue resting on your upper palate. Begin to slow down your breath. And as you release your next exhalation, feel a release in the back of the neck. Feel your jaw release. And feel a softness behind your eyes, smooth eyebrows, open forehead. And bring your attention to the weight of your kuya, of your guide stone. With your eyes closed, start to feel, gently squeeze your stone. Let your hand, your thumb brush over to feel the texture of your stone. Starting to map your stone as if you were making a 3D replica, feeling into every crevice, corner, line. And feel your hand receiving a communication from the stone. Without overthinking it, just allow yourself to receive it. And inhale, bring your stone to your ear, allowing your sense of sound to open even more as you cup this kuya around by your ear, listen and feel. What does this kuya want to offer you? What does it want to share with you? And as you draw your next breath in, bring the stone to your nostrils, a soft inhalation, extracting the essence. And then feel the stone arrive on your lips. Opening your lips, allow your tongue to rest on the stone to receive the taste. And then let your eyes open, resting on the stone, on the surface of the stone, how the light hits the stone, start to rotate, admiring, really taking in all of the different lines, colors. And then hold your stone and feel your eyes moving through the matter, looking into and through. And then take the stone to your heart, layering one hand over the other. Relax your chin. In gratitude, feel the intuitive self receiving. If you're feeling called to bring it to your forehead, feel free. Wherever you feel more connected intuitively to your stone, just allow yourself to receive this affection, this deep gratitude as your stone has chosen you, and you have chosen this stone to become your guide, Kuya.
Mm-hmm.
And draw in a nice deep breath. Let it go with a sigh.
Mm-hmm.
And then with pride, go ahead and share your stone with the group. Go ahead and bring it up there.
I want to get a photo of that.
Awesome. Awesome. Look at those smiles. Nice.
Oh, wait, I didn't get to show mine.
Yours is pink.
That is pink.
That's really cool.
I
Really.
discovered it has a Greek N for Nina on it.
Ah.
Looks like the American H. Awesome. Thank you. That was wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome the guide stone in your Kuya. And remember that it also reminds us that we don't work alone. The more we work, and once you have all the techniques and these tools down, you begin to work with people. One of the prominent things that comes once we get over did I do the steps? Did I do that? Which tools should I use, etc. No matter what is happening and all that, and this level, that stone is the portal that brings in your guides and the client's guide. So remember that the shaman works on two levels, on the physical and the reality of here and now, but also in the psyche and the spirit world for our client. And that's where the deep healing really, right, happens or takes place, even if you want karmically, like you've solved it and it's like solved, it's not still coming. And again, the portal guide stone opens the door for the guides to be present and witnessing. As you're witnessing your client shift, so also are your guides and the person, your client's guides. So today, we're going into words. Remember, Jaguar is about thinking. Jaguar lives in the middle world. And Dilla, yes.
This would be the perfect time to insert this between what we just did and what you're going into, I think. I just wanted to add that I had this like transmission, this moment, this download that in Western culture, in our languages, something like a stone is considered like an object. It's like a noun. But in a lot of indigenous cultures, their words are much more like verbs, like actions, like doing. So you could even think of your stone or renaming it to what the action is, like becoming wise or becoming connected or whatever it might be, your version of that. And it can be a really beautiful way to sort of reframe the stone, and then we're also reframing other words coming up. So I just wanted to share that because that came to me really strongly.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
What we try.
Thank you.
Guiding. So this is the guide and the guiding. Beautiful. And I love what you say. It's awesome segue. Perfect timing. And it is in as we begin to change our view of the world and the words, we begin to change our world. I'm going to go to a little bit and say that when we think, and I say and I speak and I say something and I put the words together, inside my brain, there's not a cassette player, right? That's putting out like a tape and then the words are sounding out through a speaker. But rather what's happening is a series of sparks that connect with each other. And these sparks are called synapses. And as they connect and they make this little spark, the word comes out. Or the words are staying in there and the synapses and the little sparks are happening and I'm thinking. inside myself. And those words are, when they're happening, when a word happens and a synapsis creates this little spark, that spark immediately as instantaneously triggers a series of what's it called, commands to the whole body, and first of all, and for most, to reach the whole body, to the endocrine system. So the endocrine system, you could say fear, and it's just like everything that's connected with fear lights up, and then goes to the pituitary gland, to the amygdala, and then a series of all the glands of the body. So the body knows now that we're dealing with fear. It also may distinguish to a certain degree. It's like, oh, now we're only talking about fear. Of course, there might be someone that fear and that word is prominent in their endocrine system. Someone may be living, and a lot of people are these days, continuously in fight or flight. What that means is that they're living with a predominant channel of electricity, of neural pathways that are connected to the amygdala and to the adrenals, and that are ready to take the reserve for more adrenaline and to secrete it through the whole nervous system, secrete it through the blood flow. So also the nervous system follows suit, so we could run, right? Or fight or flight. So I can either fight the lion or run. And also there's also that is the freeze. It's essentially freeze, fight, or flight. These electric signals are happening inside our brain. Electricity is moving throughout our whole body constantly, in every cell of the body and through the brain. And through the brain, the other channel of the endocrine system is informing the blood flow. The blood flow itself, once we have these hormones in the blood itself, they're coloring the electricity. Let me just say that again. So our blood is loaded with electricity. It's super loaded with electricity. You know, it's like, we say, what color is blood? And everyone will probably say red. And blood becomes red once it exits, because it's the body. It's blue in the body, and you can see the blue veins. There is a lot of iron in the body that immediately rusts and creates this. In any case, once you have the hormone in the blood flow, the electricity of the blood flow is now colored with that emotion. So your whole being, hands and body and neck, everything of the body is feeling that emotion, is feeling that word, right? I was mentioning earlier, I remembered theater, and it triggered this whole series of, you probably noticed that I got excited. My whole body started moving differently, right? I was like, this is, what did I call it? This is a fantastic phenomenon, whatever it is I call it. Because what happens is that the word theater for me immediately triggered the memories of this theater, connecting to the philosophy, connecting with all these other sparks happen. Those immediately are through my blood flow. Now they're immediately expressed and are apparent to you in my body language. And that's what we're looking at when we're working with a client. We're looking to see what words affect our client mostly. Every client comes with a story, and the story can be long, and the story it's going to be evident. It could be loaded with anger, animosity, sadness, frustration, all these different tweaks of different, like a cocktail of emotions / hormones that are now taking over the body and are animated. The words, that electric spark, now is an animation of the whole being, of the whole body. Does that make sense so far? And you can take this as a shaman, what we do is we train a little bit into the fine tuning. And I've said this, and I'm going to say this before, I believe it, I know it, that we're all shamans, and every person is a shaman. But what happens to every person that's maybe not training and having taken the training is, because the shaman's voice is knowing, is a knower, right? The word knower is what shaman is, the knower. A lot of times what happens is the moment that I hear the word, I get my own sparks in relationship to that word. And my narrator now is beginning to cover up the voice of the shaman, who doesn't need to prove anything and is more quiet than anything else. So passwords is really important in the sense that we begin to understand that words are everything. Oh, what was it in the famous awesome book, the Bible? The first sentence, in the beginning there is the word. In the beginning there is the word. And I'm going to say to this because it's written in Greek, and it's the Greek of it is en archi είναι ο λόγος. In the beginning there is the word. Logos, which is the word we use for word, logos does not mean only word in Greek. It means also, right, we have it in English everywhere. Logistics, logistical, logo, how about the logo? That's logarithm, etc. It means a trigger that can trigger several things to happen at once. It's a formula, right? A logarithm. I take that logarithm and I can do other things. Facebook has its logarithm, Instagram has its logarithm, and logos. And it also means reason. Logos means reason. And it also means God. Because in that reason, and in anything that's transmuted and it's transferred from me to you, and in my back and forth of my reality, from word it starts and to word it returns. In other words, we went to the park, we went to the theater and we saw a beautiful play. In order for me to convey the feeling that I got at the play, all that emotions, all those hormones that flooded my body and my being, I stored that in words. And I'm thinking about it in words. And when I want to translate it to you guys, I'm going to say it in words. So words are the most important thing as to how we perceive life and the experiences of life. And like we mentioned in our previous session, it's that when someone says the words, I didn't like your yoga class, how does each the word fall to me? That I may have, if I have kidney blocked meridian, it's going to be, oh my God, now they're going to tell everyone, and everyone's going to say my yoga class is not good. Then it comes to someone else who has fire in their liver, and they say, did not like triggers their liver, because that's the weak, we can call it that, or the shut down, closed meridian. And they're like, what did you say? Do you know who I am? I'm the best yoga teacher in the world. They get it, right? If someone has spleen, they're like beginning to worry. It's like, well, what is going to happen in a second? And what can I do? And how can I improve my yoga class? It's like, so the reality of words is very personal and universal at the same time. It begins for me, the words that go out, and it ends in me as the words that remain in my head of what happened. And the story that each one of us has is essentially imprinted as a cocktail, for lack of a better word here, of infusions of different hormones that created the emotion within me. So when a client comes, and they start telling you why they're there, in the beginning, they may be, if they don't know you, they may be a little bit more like careful, but as they start telling the story, you can tell, you can notice, especially through your peripheral vision, which is where the shaman lives, especially through the peripheral vision, you begin to see the body language with the words. And you can tell, and it's going to be prominent and really apparent, that there is one word that is the password, that there is one word that is their main trigger. And they're going to say, you know what, I hate it when I was young and my mom would yell at me. And it's just like, what's the word? Hate. It's just like, whoa, you know, and we don't need to train. Immediately we know what words are going to be the most powerful ones in secreting and in hijacking the whole being. So what happens is something happens, maybe it was like a trauma in the past, maybe it was something that happened a week ago, but is awakening trauma in the past. Mm-hmm. But whatever it is, when the client is sharing a story, there's going to be that word that is loaded. Now, that word that is loaded, is loaded. It's like they're trying to transmit to you, and they want you to secrete so you can feel them, so you can feel that anger, that hate, whatever it is, that sadness, that the frustration, whatever it is. When they transmit that word, they believe and they hope. We always hope that we can convey our emotions to other people, from the simplest thing to the most complicated. And especially in a healing session, they're trying to say, where they're hopefully earnest about wanting to shift this and change this, they will tell you their emotion. And they may be saying this whole story, and through this whole story, I want you to pay attention to only two things. Of course, you're listening to the whole story. You're able to answer or repeat what they just said, right? You're listening. And especially to grab these two things, you've got to be listening with your heart open, your feet in the earth, and using your peripheral vision to allow all the information to come in. You want to pick that one word and say, okay, that's the word that is really, what would be the word? Charged and is really charged and loaded and is really making my client suffer. That's the healing. We need to heal that word. So when you hear it, you could say, well, we heard that word. I can take it into chakra illumination, right? It's just like, let's find where that word lives and do this or that. We could say, oh, well, if it's like you hate your ex or this neighbor, the bad neighbor, it could be the word would be bad. Whatever it is, do cord cutting. But regardless of whatever tool you do, the password is an awesome tool. Non-tool because it happens. It's a passive tool. You want to use what we call a password, and I'll say it really clearly. You want to take that word and essentially find a synonym that is not charged. Because when that person is locked into the hate and is using that word constantly to describe that emotion that happened, that event that happened 10 years, 20 years ago, every time they're repeating it, they're secreting the same thing. And they're locked. They're locked in that. They just know that that's what this is about. It's about, I hate it. I hate it. It's like, I'm never not going to hate it. But how about if you strongly disagree? When you shift the client from hating to strongly disagreeing, you're giving them this old problem, quote unquote, this stuck neural pathways and synapses that were just stuck there because what fires together wires together. You're allowing them to break that and take that electricity and move it to strongly disagree, which belongs to a whole other category of hormones and a whole other category of, essentially, for the mind and for the heart of the person, is much more manageable. And actually, through passing, once you drop it, you can say, he says, I really hate this person, da da da. It says, I can totally see why you strongly disagree. You're accepting the emotion they have. You don't say you shouldn't hate, never patronize, never tell anyone they shouldn't do something. But you can say, I can totally see why you strongly disagree. So, and maybe you find one word that switches, and we're going to look at the handouts and see some words as examples. But then again, you can find it and you will know it in the moment that is happening. What's that synonym that can change it? So I'm taking this, again, all locked up system that would always drive this person to that bogged down emotion of hate or frustration, and in that loop, you can all of a sudden open a synapsis, open a neural pathway, and now you've opened that loop. You've taken them out of that box, talking about boxes. You've taken them out of that same thing that would go over and over and over and over again. And we go over and over and over again to the extent, as we mentioned in our last session, where because I'm secreting this in my blood every Tuesday and Tuesday afternoon, all my cells of my body, the receptors of the cells, who not only feed awesome tomatoes, potatoes, etc., but I also feed love, hate, doubt, and all the hormones that I'm producing. Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're like, give me some hate, you're feeling it, and you don't even know it. But then someone cuts you off and you're like, I hate bad drivers. And now you're beginning to build it up again. Now the receptors of the cells are taking it in. And after, half an hour of it, of yelling, screaming, telling people about how bad drivers other drivers are, because you're, of course, the best driver in the world. You never cut anyone off. After that, you've gotten your fix and you continue your day. And also, you've not only gotten your fix, but you've gotten it so much on a cellular level that you really feel more reassured existentialistically. You feel assured who you are. It's your identity. It's like, I stand for these values. I stand for love. You know, and I hate people that don't love. So those contradictions we all have, and sometimes
So
it's
right.
easier to see it. I'm so right, etc. So let's look at the, please, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you said all of this, and to put it, I want to say like concisely, is this is a tool where you can effectively change the energy flow in the client, which will allow them to be open to receive the healing of the cord cutting, of the chakra illumination, whatever it is that you feel called to, right?
Mhm.
Because as you were saying that, it's like, especially as we continue to learn tools, it's your intuition that's just like responding. And so this, I think of passwords is a very effective, passive tool that's almost like you don't even acknowledge that you're doing it. It becomes second nature. And I want to say that because I think sometimes, especially if we're good students, we want to try really hard to get the tool. And this is definitely one of those tools that we want to try softer with, right? Just like almost like one of those like word games. It's like you hear it. It's more of like you hear it, you hear the tone, you feel the change in their energy. There's a charge when they say that word. And I say that word, it could be hate, it could be whatever it is. And it doesn't need to be,
words,
it could be anything, because each person has a relationship with their vocabulary. So it's really just noticing. And usually when someone has a word that they're really charged about, they say it more than once. And so it's like you hear it the first time and then it will probably come up again, because their inner shaman is saying like, wow, like help, this is where I'm asking for help. So you're listening and feeling the undercurrent. And then this is a way to help effectively change that energy flow in the client.
Absolutely, and I love how you say it. It's just like, it's almost like you don't say, well, okay, this is what we're going to do, John. We're going to change the word hate to I strongly disagree. You do not do that. You do not do that. You're moving through. It's something you just slide right in there. And sometimes I found that it was almost the peak of the healing, because all of a sudden they saw a window out of that box they've been in for so many years, thinking about that thing in a specific way. And all of a sudden the window opened and they're like,
and it's their idea.
It's their idea. They've picked it up from you. They went and said, yeah, we did this chakra elimination, but they inside them know that they made the chemical change, and they did. They are the ones that pick it up and say, okay, you know what? I strongly disagree.
And you can
It's
just
like,
be
why?
like,
You know,
you have
it's
a
like-
right to strongly disagree, right? You could just, it's like then reflecting it back to them. It's like, you're
And-
right.
And imagine someone walking, hating, or someone walking that strongly disagrees with some things.
Mhm.
It's a whole different reality. Like how I'm walking into a room, I've been thinking about this thing that I hate, and I walk into a room, and then the clerk rings it wrong, or something happens, and it's basically I'm bringing this emotion into the sphere, into the environment.
And
Where if I come in and I have strongly disagreed with something, it's okay. I strongly disagree with something. Now this is something else. It's like it gives space for inside and outside.
yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Let's look at the handout really quickly
Really quickly.
or slowly.
Let's see here. So,
I'm lighting up here, so it's really hot.
mm,
Okay, sharing.
using passwords effectively. Always takes some-
Okay, well, I'm just going to read through it, because really where it's at is when you guys go into the breakout rooms and practice it. It is something you probably already do in life, and you
If
might
you're
do
kind
it.
and compassionate,
You might do it already.
you're
So
right. It's like,
Each client comes to us with a story. The part of them which feels hurt, defeated, and or uneasy is the part of them that needs our help. The part of them which is still empowered and wants resolution is the one who brings them to us. This part of the client essentially is the shaman within. So know that every time someone comes for healing, is their own inner shaman that's taken from the hand and say, oh, you're going to go to Nina, you're going to have a healing session, you're going to go to the doctor and you do your physiotherapy, whatever it is. It's the shaman, the healer within, that comes to find the other shaman.
And I find the most powerful sessions that I've had are when someone comes to, the session starts with, I don't really know why I'm here. I don't really have anything I need to work on, but I just thought that I should make, I like you and I thought I would do a session. And you may even be thinking like, oh yeah, I've done that, right? As a shaman,
I've done it.
as a shaman, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, here we go. We're going deep today.
Excellent.
Right?
It's excellent. I'm so glad you don't know, because we can work deeper. The story of our client offers the story our clients usually, come from the narrator who feels trapped and unable to resolve the emotional issue, not the drama. It's like he's caught in the drama. It is what keeps the client's mind preoccupied. Through the session, the shaman within the client will try to help you understand what the issue truly is. They will offer you the truth through honest signals and by using passwords. Honest signals is a phrase that is used in Western psychology and psychoanalysis. And there's an awesome book that I think we do have we do. So yeah. You see it in the membership site. You'll see it's an awesome, really easy read and fantastic. And it's essentially this Westerner that doesn't know about shamanism and describes it as a doctor, as a psychotherapist directly there, which means it's like, I hate someone. And there's the signal of the body. I'm signaling you what I'm really feeling. It's just not a word and all the words are the same. My body remains still, but there's a signal that is sent. The strength of the emotional hold through, though, lies upon one word. It is the word their inner shaman is offering you and the thread to take hold of and to gently pull until it unravels the whole true essence of their suffering. Listen for passwords in primary or secondary emotions in what the client may repeat or is supported by an honest signal. Find a synonym that is not socially loaded and offer them to them 3 times in passing. When you repeat the password, mention it in a casual way, as if not even a part of the session. Let them pick it up. Let it be their own discovery. This, for me, is truly the most profound part of the healing. And from now on, now that you're in the know, you've already watched me do it throughout our sessions and in conversations with one another as I talk or answer questions. I do it naturally. I'm doing it already. And you may notice it being in the know now again. A little bit. It's like, he just used the password. He just dropped the password. Where am I? Changing a password will break down a specific neural pathway, a loop where the emotion is stuck. This allows for a new space of thought, emotion, and external behavior. It will change, it will become new. When the client experiences this change, it will be apparent in their body language and will emanate this new way of being to all around them. The change in their thought and chemistry of emotions will help them receive their personal power, and the change in their unconscious external behavior will send new signals to all the world around them. I'll go for the examples and then we could go into sharing before we go to the breakout. Examples of passwords and how they can be changed. Secret. I worked with this wonderful man years ago who was gay and was referring to his sexuality and how he was struggling with it and how he felt that his sexual life was always a secret. And in passing, I said, well, I understand that your sexual life, I mean, like, I don't share my sexual life. It's private. So I said, I understand that you want your sexual life to be private. I saw it in his whole body. It's just like, now it wasn't a secret. A secret is so loaded. It holds. It's secretive. It's like all the things that come around it are closed energy, where that allowed him to say, I'm entitled to my privacy, and took the charge away. Angry. I've worked with a lot of people that come with anger. I have like 20 different examples of people come and they're already, and I'm really angry with this person because they never delivered and they did this or that. And I'm like, I can understand you being frustrated about it. I can only imagine how frustrating that is. And I move on, right? You drop the word and you move on. And get defensive. And you say, you have the right. I get defensive. Usually I'm defensive, and it could be the word defensive or synonyms to the word defensive that are powerful. Like I'm closed, I'm like, I don't like, or that. When you change and you say you have the right, that defensiveness can drop. It's not something that I need to do. Like I've mentioned before, when we talk about, people ask me about shamanism or yoga or Tai Chi and martial arts, it's like, all these arts don't need any defense. They don't need me to defend them. The millennia that I came along and I'm going to defend yoga and try to explain to someone what shamanism is. I have the right to do these practices, and everyone else has the right not to do them. Equally, it's all good. Shut down. I feel shut down, especially when someone says, "I just feel so shut down." That is a really strong signal to the whole body, essentially, and especially first of all to the immune system. I'm saying I'm shut down, and more often than not, if you hear any word that is around that signal, you know that this person is also going to be coming with a long-term something, either immune, autoimmune system thing, or eczema, or things that follow them, and they're just there, right? Because they're essentially automatically, every time they spark it, they spark shutdown of whole other systems of the body. And I hate. I
shut down to need a retreat.
Shut down to you need a retreat. It's just like, I feel it. I feel like you're being shut down, and all this time you need a retreat, and it's cool. I understand that you need a retreat. And hate here I have down as disagree. I can understand why you disagree. I could totally understand why you disagree with this. Liberate your client from the password and watch their body language change. So I'm just going to say again in this one sentence that we don't tell the client, hey, we're going to be working with passwords and I'm going to be doing this and that. It's just something that you do and watch it. For me, it's amazing. I've witnessed it in my healing sessions with others, that many times it's the most powerful part of what really offered them healing. Because remember, when we heal people, it's not that I'm bringing out my magic shaman wand and I created the healing. Oh, I'm using tools to bring this person out of where they're at, and I'm showing them the way. They are doing their healing. Remember that. We're healers in teaching the person to be a healer of themselves at that moment. Like I was on my knees and I was telling Francisco, heal me, I have cancer. And he's like, I can't heal cancer, but I can train you to become a shaman and you can heal yourself. So much more for other lighter things than fourth stage cancer, like emotions that are bogging us and holding us and we're trapped in and live in. I'll pause here and say, any questions, any comments? Dilla is on wood fire, on fire.
Love it.
Yeah, so I'm spotlighting defensiveness, thinking about that because that's not a word someone would use, but you can absolutely feel it when someone's defensive. And one of the things that I've heard numerous times in the last few weeks is that's just who I am. And I just wanted to hear if you wanted to respond to that. That's just who I am.
We've been having a conversation
so
about
funny.
this, Dilla.
That's so funny. It's been a whole week we've been talking about this. It's like, that's who I am. That's who I am.
Yeah. Okay.
So that person says that's, I don't know if there's a question to that, but I'll just leave it. Is that a question?
I just wanted to hear the reflection on that because I think that, important.
I wouldn't need to have context, but it's really funny because again, it's like we've been talking about the exact phrase. When people say that's just who I am, and we laugh because it's just like, for a shaman, at least I'm going to say this to that, for a shaman, we are consciousness. We begin to understand, every one of us here in the training, and we constantly begin to understand that what I am is consciousness awareness. I'm a witness to something happening. Where that says who I am means I have all these emotions embedded in me, and every time in these circumstances, I'm just going to go to the go-to. This is who I am. And that means zero evolution. That means zero evolution, period, which goes along with stuckness, goes along with you will bring you to internal conflict and probably disease.
And I would say it's a cop out, right? As the shaman listening to it, it's like, really? So what I kind of created in my own mind, like an idea of a scenario where this could be a response, depending on the context of how it's used. But if a client said something along the lines of like, well, you know what, it's just who I am, I would probably say something like, well, you know, I hear you and I trust that you make really good decisions. Like almost putting that accountability back onto them, because they're saying, I'm not accountable, I just don't clean the kitchen or whatever it is, or like, I'm just not, it's like, okay, well, I trust that you make really good, I hear you and I trust that you make really good decisions. And there's an energy that
I know you make good decisions.
I know
you make good decisions.
And so in that, and this is one that I feel like as parents, we can use this. It's a really good one. It doesn't matter what the age of the child is, where when they're going through something difficult, and instead of trying to say, like, are you blind? Like, what are you doing? You know, just like, I trust that you're going to make a good decision, because you always make good decisions, right? In that, the energy can go from hijacked and constricted and shutting down and being like, this is who I am, I'm not going to change, to like, oh, well, yeah, I do make good decisions, right? So there's like this.
And who I am is not insulted. Who I am is not in danger.
And who you are is not bad. Because when I feel like when there's a claiming of, well, this is who I am, there's someone in opposition to the action of what they do or something. There's some resistance to who they are for them to be making that statement. And so it may not, and again, it would depend on the context, but saying something that you feel will soften that grip, because it's a shutdown.
You can change your behavior without losing who you are, in other words. So you can make a great decision about this.
I love it, Dilla. I love it. Anyone else feel like anything else to that? Anyone feeling energy? Sheila. Thank you, Dilla.
Sorry, trying to get myself unmuted here. No, this isn't relevant to what Dilla just brought up, but my question is the password, when we talk about the password, just to be clear, is the password the original charged word or phrase, or is it the replacement word or phrase?
Well, it's both, in the sense that that's the word you want to work with, and the password that you're giving them is a replacement. So it's both. That's the word
from the inner shaman.
From the inner shaman, they're coming, that's saying, hey, this person's hating. And like, whoop, it comes out of their mouth. And let's say that the password is the replacement to make it easier. But you find, let's name it this. The first word is the trigger word, and what you're giving them is the password. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. That makes it perfectly clear. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to add it to the handouts. I'm going to add that. Nina's going to add it to the handouts. You just added it to the handouts. Any other questions? Comments?
Jokes?
Any last jokes, new ones? Okay. So what we're going to do, the best way to really is it to experience, like everything, to experience it. So we're going to go into breakout rooms, and I invite you, again, it's like, a blanket statement for all the tools that we do is like, remember, you're going in the room to practice, to learn a tool. So it's not like, oh, good, I have the JaguarPath weekend, I'm going to bring out everything that I haven't solved with my therapist, and I'm going to bring it into the weekend, and I'm going to ask a fellow student. Bring something, though, that is real for you. Don't bring the biggest thing. Bring something that is real for you, right? And because you will, even though you're going to receive a password, the chemical change will happen. The neural pathway change will happen. So I invite you, as you're listening, we're going to do, how long we're going to do? 5 minutes each?
Let's say 15 minutes total, so
Okay.
everyone has enough time to say hello.
Exactly. And then maybe you take it to a second password. So when you're listening, really open your heart and say, hey, you know what? I do have sometimes this is what I'm feeling. See if there's if there's a word that you feel stuck with, or an emotion, a story that comes into your head that repeats itself. And what is the main emotion? And it can be a primary emotion and a secondary meaning, unless you feel into that. There's some that are really primary, like when I take anger, it's primary, and then it echoes into, I feel disconnected. I hate that group, so now I'm feeling a secondary emotion that I feel disconnected. I feel not a part of, and having other emotions around it. Whatever emotion that you feel that is up in a word, or whatever word you hear that is charged. And you were saying earlier in the break, is that don't think about it too much. The synonyms are right there, because you're not charged. You can see another way to look at it. And your words are going to be other words to look at it. And that's what you're showing them. Hey, I see that path. You can, instead of being boxed in here, it's like the door is wide open. If you use this word, you're going to get out of that.
Is that clear? Does everyone feel clear?
Thumbs up. It's clear. Yes. And don't think about it.
And have fun.
And I'm going to tell you, many of you, or all of us, you're already doing it many times in everyday life, and you're not thinking of it as a shamanic tool. So yeah, enjoy it. And we'll see you back in 15 minutes, and then we'll share how that was.
Have fun.
Setting the timer. See you guys in a sec. 15. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Jotting down some things so to remember to share. How was that? All right. Still, I want to talk more about it. So who would like to share what the password they found and what they changed it to, etc., how that was? Who wants to volunteer before I start volunteering?
Michelle, go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you.
Michelle.
All right, so I'm unmuted. All right, well, I worked with Kimberly, and you know, I went in not thinking, you know, what I was doing, but you know, I'm retiring, as you all know, and it's kind of scary. And then, so that kind of segued into my fiance of like 7 years is going to be moving in like in June. So I have to go through my house and get rid of like a lot of stuff. And because I don't need all the clothes that I have, you know, I have to give them away. But then, you know, I get emotionally attached. I'm like, oh, I had so much fun wearing that dress. It's like, oh, those boots, I had so much fun. And so I have to give up like all this like emotional attachment that I have to possessions that I don't really need. And I have been giving stuff away. It's like we have the Vietnam Vets of America come every couple of months. I give them boxes or like trash bags filled, you know, just get rid of my stuff. And so we worked on the word, and the way she did it, she rattled, and we were at my root chakra, and she had the serpent eat the word scary. And then for me, it's like it regurgitated and it came out. And then we went to hummingbird, and the word scary it ended up being caring, like from scare to care. And so I care about my future with my honey. So I'm happy to be getting rid of all my stuff. I'm not scared. It's that I care. So
Beautiful.
Awesome. Good work, Kimberly.
it was like really good. And it was so long, and then her cat hit the keyboard and I lost her. So I didn't have time to, you know, for her to have a turn, but we're going to connect outside of, you know.
She's done all the work. Kimberly's done all the words. So
Yeah. So,
yeah. And I want to say, awesome. Congrats. That's awesome work.
Yes.
And I'm going to add that we're moving into a next tool, which is a combination that Kimberly it's a good segue. Thank you, Kimberly, for doing that and saying that. That we can also, instead of rattling and going through that, which is fantastic. I love how you did that, because that's not something we taught you. but you shamaned it, you did it. I also want to say that in passing, instead of bringing the rattle and going through this beautiful ceremony and doing that work, you could be, it's like, I understand where you're scared. It's like, and I really see that you care. And then you can move on. It can just be that dropping the word care, right? And at the same time, I love what you did, Kimberly, because you did a combination of things that you've learned and you created it yourself, really, right? Would you agree, Kimberly?
Yeah, I think I was just going off of memory and I got the activities mixed up. But
Perfect.
I like how you can transform it through the animals. So that's what I stuck to.
Absolutely perfect. Perfect. And I just mentioned it because we are going into this next tool that is awesome, and it's word deconstruction, and we will be asking the assistance of the PowerAnimals. And also just remembering for this tool alone, it can be something that just passes, and it's like I see it, Michelle. I understand how you care, and you're giving all this to these people. And there could be other examples also, but you hit the word, of course, is I'm scared.
Yeah.
Horpichai.
Beautiful.
Anything you want to share? Oh, your cat hit the keyboard, so you didn't have. I know. Well, Horpichai, thank you. Mark.
Hi, I worked with Melinda, who was very insightful, and I told her a very long story about something that happened like 35 years ago. And the word she pulled out, which was actually more of a feeling for me as opposed to a word, was resentment. And to soften it came more to an action as use your voice to prevent being resentful of something that you didn't speak up about.
You have beautiful work. And when we want to use the password, I really don't want to, and this is good, and that's why we're doing this, so we could get into the nitty gritty of it. I don't call it out. You said, I'm so resentful and about this situation and this happened, etc. What's a password for resentment? It's like, I can feel you harboring this for so long. Because harboring emotions is what brings us to keep having emotion, resentment 35 years later. I'm holding it somewhere. So now I'm unlocking. I could see how you could be harboring that for so long. Now I gave you a now because you're like, oh, I'm harboring this, and I can open the harbor and let that go, let it leave, from me. And then automatically in the back, resentment is falling. But I don't address it. So, and again, there's nothing is wrong. All the shamanic tools, like I just saw Kimberly create one, or I just saw someone work on it. But now what you did is worked on it, where the tool itself and the beauty, the power of it is, I'm not even addressing that. I'm kind of almost just going over it, almost like I am acknowledging it, but I'm also kind of dismissing it. It's like, yeah, I can see how you're harboring that. But let's work on something else today, or let's see what we want to work on today. It can be a word that you take, and you're going to take it all the way to a chakra illumination and say, okay, let's see where resentment is in you. But I can also see the other parts of the whole story in the 20 minutes or so that my client is talking, that I can drop my password and say, I can see how you could be harboring that. It's understandable, and move on to another part of the story, and then do a chakra illumination on something else, do a cord cutting, do a soul retrieval, do whatever of the tools that you feel that is working and is necessary. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Password is I'm just dropping it and I didn't even know I did it. And the client picked it up. I'm like, oh, it's something that the client most likely begins to think of that moment, and is really now begins to think of does that mean? Is beginning, I'm already open those neural pathways that were locked, that what wires together. So I'm stuck and I'm wiring resentment. And then the person said, and that is happening there somewhere in my brain, which gives leeway to other words and emotions in me. But the moment I say, I totally understand how you could be harboring, how you harbor that in your heart or in your body, that automatically did this. It unstuck that. Because now I can find another pathway, because the healed part of you doesn't want to be in resentment and does want to find a path out. So the moment I just drop that, it's happening to you. There's no way it's not going to happen to you. It's already now. Every time you go back, you're going to be going, Tuesday, I want to feel resentment. It's Tuesday, 3 o'clock. I want to feel that. And having felt a lot of resentment in my life. And anyone else ever? Ever? Let me see. That's the 3 usual us. Okay. Having felt that resentment for so long, Tuesday coming and it's boiling up, or another situation awoke in it. Now, when it happens again, I'm like, I'm not harboring this. This is happening in front of me, and you know what? I'm not going to hold. It's like it's happening to you. It's changed inside you. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mark.
Melinda, you would like to share?
Yeah. So, I guess my word I was feeling, the word I was using was isolation. And then in talking with Mark, he interjected the word space.
Awesome.
So it's like wasn't that chasm of isolation, but space could be navigated.
Space can be navigated. Awesome.
I love that.
And it can be many synonyms for every one of us. It's like, I could have said that. I could have said that. Whatever comes up to you is correct. The moment you feel that is unlocking that. Isolation is it?
Yeah, I like that. I really like, and I feel like as you were sharing it, I don't know if anyone else felt this. It's just like I felt it as you were speaking the word isolation. As soon as you said space, I felt space. I felt a release in my heart, and so it's just like that's another kind of telltale for you as the shaman. It's like, do you notice a change in your own energy? Because we're connected with our client's energy. And so there's this kind of call and response, right? There's this instantaneous energy response happening between client and shaman, right? Excellent work, you guys. Beautiful.
Who else would like to share? Let's do one more share.
Kat.
Kat.
Hiya, I was working with Dina. And I just wanted to say she did a really good job. Like, I've been struggling with feeling scatty or hyper focused, and I was getting really annoyed with it. And I said to Dina that I was getting quite angry, and she managed to kind of just what's the word, redirect it to overwhelmed. And I really loved that because it was so much more of a compassionate way of looking at it, which is what I'd been searching for, but I hadn't managed to just quite grasp it. So I just want to give her kudos.
Awesome.
And did you watch how when Kat was sharing the angry, the over-focused, and it's just immediately, even in the aftermath of describing it, her whole body changed, the color of her voice changed, and saying, yeah, I'm overwhelmed. And see, where you're angry, you're like stuck. I'm holding this anger and I'm going everywhere and I'm holding it. It's just like, but being overwhelmed is something that, although it's overwhelming, it's something you can handle and unlock yourself out of it. And also think of it this way, that some words are like, they're stronger, addictive. They're more addictive than others. So you're giving a word that is not addictive. Right? Because if I'm angry, I can be angry, and because I'm so right. And there are times that things happen that someone clearly did something wrong, right? And hurt you and made you angry. So what's the deal now? I can't change them. And am I only left with now I just have to carry this anger with me? And like I'm entering into new places in life and I'm still bringing that with me. Where frustrated, overwhelmed, rather, is so much easier to say, okay, well, then I'll take a break. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to go, I'm going to release my overwhelm. Well done.
Nice work, Dina. Nice work.
Yeah. Dina, how was it for you? Saying it, changing it, or the word you offered and changed?
It was good. I'm sorry. So Kat's wonderful to work with, and she knows all the right words to say. She always does. She's been very helpful with a lot of things, including the computer stuff, by the way. But I have been in a situation where I know, Ray, you said to not use something big, use a smaller thing, but I have no smaller things. I've been at rock bottom, and I'm very self-sabotaging because of it. And I explained to Kat why and my story in short, and she told me I was justified. She gave me the word justified, and that really helped hugely to take a different perspective on it and stop beating myself up over it. And then we talked about reweaving and resetting and reweaving so that we can take a different approach too.
Check. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work.
Thank you. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you.
Hot Pichai. I'm going to add to this that, oh, sorry, yes. Julie.
Can I ask you a question, Ray?
Absolutely.
Thanks. When you went through this process and when you moved into shamanism, did you feel a sense of isolation and stepping into a different space?
Well, I'll say this, that Nina's response, and I always said jokes like, what, have you ever felt isolated? It's like for 20 years, or have I felt isolated for 15 years or so? And this is really good. I'm glad you're asking, because let's talk about the worth and the value of that word, because that's what we're talking about. So in the beginning, that's how it felt like. Like when I had to do it, it's like there's practices like Vipassana for yoga, where you go 10 days in a silent retreat, where 10 days you're alone and you don't speak. Did my narrator feel isolated? Did a big part of me feel isolated? Totally. Like, oh, did my self-pity come up? And like, oh, and I'm so, all these things came up. Of course they came up. And the nice thing is, as they come up, and as we get more empowered and we are beginning to put these things together, all these new neural pathways of these new tools and these bits and pieces of us that are more and more healed, they come together and they create a new force of who I am, right? So isolation, when I hear the word isolation, now it doesn't trigger me as it used to, or I don't feel it. It's, for me, it's a practice I make sure to do. That so often do. It's just I go and I isolate myself. We go to the Avaton and we sit or I take 24 hours, and I'm like inward. But it doesn't have that charge. It's a practice now. There's a beautiful practice that my beloved brother-in-law did. My sister and brother-in-law are in Bonn, the Tibetan shamanic practice, and they're deeply into it. He did 49 days of darkness in a dark room without talking and without being able to see, right? So was that isolation? Totally. But he comes out and his pineal gland is glowing like the Buddha, because the pineal gland loves darkness. And there's all this stuff that is beginning to happen. So sometimes isolation is like, it's the best thing that you could do. It doesn't mean that, oh, now I'm isolated. Because behind isolation, the trigger is that I'm not connected with my umbilicus cord, either with the family, the community, with the rest of the world, and I feel alone. But once you discharge this word, and once you start practicing, you realize that you are an individual. In Greek, atomo means atom. Atom, the word atom is the word, right? So is an atom isolated? It is. It's doing its own function, but it is ever not really. So you begin to again change your relationship. And so if someone would say that, I feel we could just drop another word. It's just like, it's great to be alone, to take a retreat every now and then, and kind of like, and then move on, right, to the next.
And
to answer, yes, I've felt isolation all the way to despair, and that bottoming out for me is what gave me the springboard to heal myself and the motivation to move out and up. And I now know clearly that without that, I wouldn't change who I was. So I would have died of cancer. But I had to go through that, right? Just to drop also, it's like, that's the springboard to drop a password to Dina. I was scared, isolated, but hey, this is good. And a lot of times, or sometimes when I feel that any kind of emotion like that, for whatever reason it comes up, immediately my body kind of tries to go to that old trigger, and then it kind of like expands rather than contracts. So I hope that answers your question to all its depths that it has.
And I would like to add to that, because I think it's a big one for any of us that are choosing a path of healing, of evolution. We step out of that collective flow and step into our truth. And I don't know if what I've shared. At 17, I chose to step out completely of my social life, and I stepped into being a monk in a martial arts dojo in the Maine woods on land where I was farming and taking care of horses, and my social life were the animals, truly, because I was the lowest man on the totem pole, right? As a disciple, as a
young disciple,
very young disciple, and I would get the calls from my friends like, "We're going out to lunch. Do you want to join us?" Or "There's this party," And I remember one night I was in charge of taking care of the dojo for this big ceremony, this big event that was happening. And I got a call from my friends that were completely drunk. And they were like, "Where are you? We miss you." And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I shouldn't have answered because I'm in the dojo. I just am like, people are like, the black belts are arriving, like this is, and I like what you said, isolation to a point of despair. I felt this part of myself die. I felt a part of myself really, and I mourned that, Nina. And where I came to it was a choice. It was a conscious choice to step out, because I had this kind of intuitive projection of where my path was leading me. If I was going to continue to go to those parties and to the lunches, and there's nothing wrong with parties or lunches, but for me, it was really clearly going to lead me in a direction that wasn't healthy.
Yeah, you drew your own dharma.
And I'm like, I look back and thinking, I felt, at 17, I think we all feel very mature and like I've had it all figured out. And I look back, I'm like, I was such a child, right? Like I was so young. But no matter what age we are, when we choose to step on a spiritual path, I do believe that there is, if you truly are committed to your path, there's going to be a sensation of isolation. In the ancient texts, it says, if you are on the path, you will feel mental insanity. Anyone ever feel a little bit like, because there's a reconstruction happening. And that's what these words is, that's where so much of the energy flow changes. The expectation from my external environment of Nina's always in the center of the party, because I love to have a good time. I just needed to figure out how to do it in a way that was more healthy for me, right? There is that,
of course,
change in chemistry and change in energy flow. And when we have a cycle of, like, we get up and we have our morning tea or our morning coffee, if we skip that, the rest of the day, it feels a little bit off, right? So if we have that habitual pattern of a way of being and we change it, there's gonna be that part of us that has a withdrawal. There's a chemical withdrawal from that way of being, that old lifestyle, right?
And that feeling that you're saying, the feeling is the withdrawal.
Yeah, and we call it isolation, or we call it, right? There's going to be, we like to.
I put that name on that feeling.
We like to kind of stamp it.
And
detox, yes, Julie, right on. Withdrawal, detox.
Some of you know where we live. Some of you know the jungle where we lived, and even in the States, we live deep in the woods, so we're always isolated. So
we're connected, truly,
to nature.
I mean, in the sense, so there's like that. There's that. It's
almost like
you
come out to the other side of it, and you realize how much more connected you are with those that are not in isolation. They're all out together, but where are they? They're in what we call the samsara, right? And the collective, and it's just like, and it's great. Of course, lunches are great. We do it every day, and of course, a party is great. But how can you redefine it so to be evolving, right, rather than be held back? And I want to do the same thing over and over again. Right. Okay. Any more questions or
passwords?
Anyone that wants to give a password?
I just want to. We will take a bathroom break. I don't know if we're doing this first.
I'll just say this as a sentence that So this tool that you learned also, where else can we find this besides our clients is our own self. So I'd say take a moment and jot down now and in the break, during the break, are there words that trigger you? Because you want to offer this to yourself, and now you can't do it in passing as a password. You're just going to consciously say, well, how else can I undo this link of the synapses in the brain and the chemistry? What else is like, so what is a word that triggers you, and start working and just jotting down, like, I can change this to that, and really feel it, And then also notice next time you're triggered, the person says, hate, the person says war, or whatever it is that may be a trigger word for you. And you're like, it goes there, but because you've installed this new word next to it that is a synonym, it lives close to the region, and it tracks the electricity rather than it going back to the trigger word. It goes there, and it immediately takes a sharp left or sharp right, and it goes into the new place where there is opening, and not that old addiction or that old pain. That's right. I mean, we're using the word addiction, which can be a trigger word for many. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a function of the body. It's like I do things, and the more I do them, what fires together wires together. The more I do them, the more that is who I become. And in that is who I am. I thought of a password as you guys were in there. It says like, you say, I totally understand, I accept who you are. I totally understand. And as we evolve, that's a password. And as we evolve, I'm not saying as you evolve, as we evolve, we can find other ways to deal or to change things.
And I'll just add, as what you were just saying, is like we change those words. It's almost like a software upgrade, right? It's like, so we're upgrading the software. So we can delete those old files. We can delete that old energy and that old trigger. And we've got this new way of flowing, right? The energy now can just keep flowing without getting hijacked or shut down or any of those responses that can be limiting.
Absolutely.
Let's honor the physical body. Let's take 15 minutes. Take care of, if you need a tea, if you need to use the bathroom, whatever it is, a big breath of fresh air, a little bit of movement. We'll be all back here in 15 minutes. We have a really fun tool coming up, so hopefully you guys are able to stay.
Okay, welcome back. So we're stepping into a tool, I'm going to say a tool that I really love. You probably heard me say this before, but I really love this because it has to do both with the fact that I've grown up in an academic family, and words are like words are always so important, from theater to poetry to all the forms of art. So I have a lot of words, and I love languages, etc. And the most important part of why I love it is because, like I said again, it's just like we describe to ourselves our own life. Our narrator narrates ourselves to our own life. But what our narrator does, it doesn't narrate the event, it narrates the emotion. And a lot of times our narrator is maybe stuck in an emotion, and in that there's that word, that prevailing word. That what happens in the brain is if you have one prevailing word, like it could be isolation, for example, or it could be, what was the other word? Betrayal.
Or disappointment.
Betrayal. Or disappointment. Betrayal, anyone ever felt that? Let me see if everyone's okay. So what happens is when some words become major, and they become major because imagine like a network of a city that you're looking above at night, and you see the roads and the lights, etc. They become all of a sudden a hub. It's a roundabout that then springs out to others. So that's just one word, yes, and you try to avoid feeling or thinking it, it's still there. So anything that comes around the neighborhood of that word, or in any way, shape, or form makes you feel that takes over the electricity, and then you're really coming from despair, isolation, whatever that word is. It's like a lot of things will be colored that way. So it's beginning to define you. So words define us. En archi ime logos. In the beginning, there is the reason. It becomes the god of our I like that, of our software. All of a sudden, there's like these major words. And what happens is that what happens is really big, is that the collective consciousness and the collective really strengthen it. Really go and say, yep, isolation, it's a really bad thing. It's like, oh, are you isolated? Oh, he was so isolated. It's like everyone puts the word around it, so it becomes really stronger to it, right? And then again, it draws you into that collective. So I feel isolated, so I feel sad, I feel sorry, whatever then goes with it. So what we want to do is, instead of going to ask everyone else what they think, we will go and ask our beautiful 4 main power animals: serpent, the jaguar, the hummingbird, and the condor. And how we're going to go and ask them, there's several ways. There's one way that is major. Let's go back to the fact, and I will say this, that because this is an electric connection and it's connected to your neurology, it's connected to your motor system, and connected to your endocrine system, it defines you. So if I can grab a word and say, well, if I say the word betrayal, and that was a big one for me, anyone else ever? That was okay. So when I go and say the word betrayal, if I'm saying it as Ray, it's going to keep on saying, well, if I say it 10 times, it's just going to dig in deeper. It's going to dig in deeper. But if I say, well, let me not be Ray for a moment, and let me access the motor system of the serpent, the motor system of the jaguar, the motor system of the hummingbird, and the motor system of the condor. What if I enact these 4 amazing, wonderful allies, these 4 power animals? What if I get into the body? And that's why today in yoga, especially today, that's why we always go through those 4 power animals. I'm in serpent, I'm in serpent, and then let me go into my jaguar. How would it? So if you're telling a serpent about isolation, it's like, how is the serpent saying isolation? Or the jaguar is like isolation. It begins to do its own thing. And the amazing thing is that, on one hand, the reason we get stuck is because we all have the brain frequency, and we connect to the collective, so we're stuck as a collective is. But I also have the ability as a shaman, and stepping out of the ordinary and stepping out of the norms or the collective. I'm going in now and I'm revisiting this with my uncommon sense, and I'm revisiting it with the animals. And if I can start saying that word over and over and over and over again while I'm enacting that power animal will take me out of that word, will take my motor system out of that word, and I'm going to do my electric change at that moment through the motor system back up. Like I was saying earlier, it's like here's the signal in the amplifier, the wire goes out to the speaker. Now I'm putting information to the speaker and sending it back to make that change in the amplifier. I hope that makes sense as an analogy. The most important thing is I will do it. Because the word isolation came up, I kind of sat and did it in the break and kind of felt through it. And so I will practice the word and show you how I practice the word isolation. And I want to give 2 examples. I want to give isolation, so you watch it. We'll talk a couple minutes about it. And then I'm going to do the word betrayal. It's funny because I've undone that word. Sometimes it's like, what was that word? What was that word? It's disassembled, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Deconstruction.
a deconstruction of the word. In psychology, we call it deconstruction, right? Or in literature, it's deconstructing something and taking it to pieces and moving it around. So I am going to just dive right into it.
And so as the shaman, I'm going to take the seat of the shaman. Ray's going to take the seat of the client. Because he's demonstrating, just so you guys know, he'll be going through the animals. I'm going to be writing down what I'm hearing, okay? And then I'll reflect back to him what I heard as he was deconstructing the word, going through the different animals.
This is definitely a tool that I like to do in my third or fourth session with clients when I
When you
feel
build some
comfortable
trust.
and you build some trust. When you tell them, please come down to the floor and become like a serpent, and then enact the jaguar, etc. Right? So it's somewhere where the person now is like really getting into the work with you and is trusting you. You're like almost like a coach, shaman, ally of them, and they're like, okay, let's do this. I'm open to doing what you're saying because I know other things you've showed me bring me out of my situations. So I'm just going to go for it. A moment of hesitation for isolation, and you want to tap into, what is it called, a stream of consciousness. So you go in and you start repeating the word, but you're also at the same time you really want to do, and you're instructing your client to do, is really feel the animal when you're saying it. Really feel the animal. Feel the animal. Feel the animal. Feel the animal. You're like, so the brain can get unstuck. Now, with that said, I'm going to take this out of the way, and I don't know if you could there enough.
Does that feel okay?
I think so. I'll put my head this way so everyone can see me.
Okay.
And yes, if you could be the scribe. So when you're listening to your friend, your client, write down what they're saying, because if you really, the person gets into it, sometimes like you don't remember. You can hear back afterwards. So I'm going to come down to serpent.
And you're working with isolation.
I'll start with isolation. Okay. Isolation. Isolation. Getting, if you get stuck, move to the next animal. Come up to Jaguar and insulation, consultation, insulation, inspiration. When we come up to Connor, inspiration, elation. Lift the camera up a little bit. Elation. Wow. Okay. First of all, I'm going to come back like your client does, and I'm going to say, is there a change in my voice? Is there a change in my voice?
I hear a change in your voice.
Wow. Okay. And it's really interesting because I didn't think that was the right word, but that word itself has the collective consciousness value of it, right? And so just going through it, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I can report back, and then you can, it's just like, because it's nice, because I'm still doing it while I'm doing this example, I'm actually viscerally feeling it. I feel that there's a lot more light here right now, and I just feel taller. And especially when I arrived at elation, there was just this sensation opening in my chest, and I still feel it. There's this like almost tingly feeling all the way to my fingers, and my whole heart is open. Beautiful. So thanks for the word, whoever dropped it. Was it Julie? Did you notice it? Do you feel it? Do you see what I'm talking about, this tool? Word deconstruction. Going down there, keep on repeating the word, and if you feel that it's not changing, I do think because of the years I've done this and the practice, and because I am teaching it, I may be moving through it fast. So it could take a little more time. Allow for yourself or allow for your client to be in it a little bit more. The most important thing is that while your client is doing it, and when we were doing it at the studio, I would always be with my microphone or in this space and say, keep on repeating the word, keep on repeating the word, keep on repeating, because people would go, okay, see, they're pretending to be a serpent, and then they would go out of the serpent and say, in, so, le, I don't know. Ray could do it, but I don't. You don't want to take them out of that thinking process. Be the serpent. Be the serpent. Keep on repeating the word. Feel it. Feel it. Like if you want to, like a coaching, but really helping them so they don't get stuck and to get too heady, because it's exactly what we're doing. We don't want to be heady. We're not doing a literature exercise about the word, or it's not about you if you're able to do improv or not. Although I know some of you also do improv, which is awesome, right? Improv for that reason at all, like art for that reason at all, changes the form of things and the energy.
And I want to just share, because Ray's, I feel like hopefully you guys are grasping the concept. For me as the shaman, I was just simply writing the words that I was hearing. And I would, in a session, I would then reflect back to him. I was like, where it went from isolation.
So what were they?
So it went from isolation at the beginning and it transformed to elation. But in between isolation and elation, I heard other words. And he may not remember that process.
I don't.
So I'm just going to go down through. It was isolation, and then it was ice, ole, I, insulation, in consultation, insult, installation, in salutation, inspiration, elation.
That's awesome. I'm feeling it.
And so
I don't feel isolated anymore.
And then as the shaman reflecting that back, there's like giving space to letting the resonance of the word, of the sound kind of land, and giving that space. And even his response of like, oh, I feel it. I feel that. Wow. So he has the experience of the exercise, and then I listen or I feel into whatever his response is, and then I'm gonna come back and read through
those. It's beautiful to read through them. It's really helpful for me, the client, to like hear all that, and it's a pathway really. I went from that word to that word to that word. It's like these points of the path, of stepping stones to come out to elation, and it's awesome. It's yeah. Any questions? I'm going to do one more word to show you guys, but any questions before we do a second example?
Julie.
And
then Kat.
All right. Thank you. I asked a question in the chat. It felt like coming from the serpent up through like jaguar, hummingbird, condor, that it allowed for that uplift. Is that
absolutely
purpose? Okay.
Absolutely. And what it does is like, I'm like, and if you've instructed, is like really enact the animal, because we know how a jaguar moves. Like anyone, like there could be an amazing actor that gets on the stage and does a jaguar, and we're all like, whoa, how did that person do that? But we all have that ability, and it's in our prefrontal cortex, and it's in the what those are called, the cells, mirror neurons. Thank you very much. my vocabulary, my words. The mirror neurons. The moment I think of a jaguar, my mirror neurons tell me how it moves. I could do this, I could do that. And again, it doesn't matter how good I'm doing it. We're not auditioning for a part. It's important though that I'm feeling the jaguar at that moment, so I'm not stuck in the head. I'm more in the motor system. And as I change the motor system, and like you said, Julie, as I move up, I'm out, and liberated like a condor, right?
And I will say, Ray demonstrates this every year. It's not a tool that I feel like I'll say like Ray's almost, I want to say more uninhibited than I feel. Like to me, I get a little bit shy. And I'm saying that because I'm sure some of you are like, oh, like the first time I saw Ray demonstrate this, I'm just being totally honest. It's like, I don't want to get on the floor with someone and like start like
clean up the
rolling
studio
around. And like, I had such a limitation, and I like 6+ years later, I'm like, I'm more cool with it, but there's still a part of me that's like, I don't want to like keep repeating that. And I'm only saying that because I can understand if my client has resistance to it. And if any of
Yeah.
you are having resistance, and then I know some of you are like into theater and you do these exercises in theater groups, or you get up on stage and like it does, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And the people are like, this is my go-to, this is my favorite tool. It's okay wherever you are on the spectrum of that response, okay?
Yeah, it's definitely weird.
If I see a client that's in that space that I was of feeling like I'm working online with them and be like, look, as long as I can hear you and you can hear me, it's cool. Like, I don't need to be able to see you. And I can hear as the shaman, it's like, okay, keep saying the word, keep moving. Like there might be a moment where I can sense they're freezing up. It's like, okay, keep moving. Maybe you want to move into the next animal, like, and just giving them that little bit of space and that privacy to move through it on their own.
And I would say, yeah. So just
Ray doesn't hesitate. He's like, I want to do another one, right?
I want to say that
like,
what you could, that because it takes a little bit coming over an inhibition, that
Definitely.
just keep on saying to the person, repeat the word, repeat the word, repeat the word. So you're
And that's
repeating
it.
this, you're giving them a
That's it. You
motif
got it.
of repetition, repeat the word, repeat the word, repeat the word. And if all of a sudden they break out and say, I don't know, it's like go to the next animal. Only if they come out of role, tell them, go to the next one, go up, continue, repeat the word, encourage them. So let's do one more because I want you guys to have a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
To have plenty of time to do a couple words also each. So I'm going to go into, what was the word?
You're doing betrayal?
Betrayal.
Oh, let me spotlight you.
Beat Ray with the rail, beat Ray with the rail, beat frail, beat heartbeat, beat trail, be the trail, be the trail, be the trail, be the trail, be free trail, be free trail, be free. Be free on the trail. Be free. Be free as a whale. Be free as a whale. Be free as a whale. Cool. Okay. All right. Again, I don't know how long I took. Let's just read through the words and then go into the practice and sharing so you guys have plenty of time.
So you went from betrayal and ended at be free as a whale. And the process of getting there was betrayal, betrayal all, beat Ray with a rail, be frail, heartbeat, be the trail, be free trail, be free on the trail, be free as a whale.
And it's just for me, it was just so profound that when I first did this, is an actual healing in it, steeped in this bitter emotion of betrayal. And when I had arrived up in Condor, I looked down and it was like in the middle of an ocean and there was this whole family, a pod of whales. So it was the mother and the cubs and the calves rather. And there was just this freedom and this open ocean, and they were knowing where they were going, and that sensation of freedom, just like, it was wow. And even still, years later, if I do it as an example, there's just like, it comes up again, like the freedom, the sensation, even more. I have been freed from betrayal, and I know people do what they do and who they are, and some people is who they are. But again, even though I've released that, every time I do practices with words like this, I feel again that super flow of energy. And I'm going to let you guys practice it because that's where it's at. So you see how visceral it is. And in that also, you'll start to understand how visceral the words, the hucha words, the heavy words, how viscerally they're actually holding you and how they are expressed in your body language. So it's different to be someone that is captive in the word of betrayal. Your hips move differently than someone that does not worry about betrayal. There's a freedom in that in life, or any other word that may hold you. And actually in betrayal, it was crazy when I realized that in my neural pathways, there was a part that said beat Ray with a rail. It was like absolutely personal. The word was like made for me, and it was like punish me that much, right, with a rail. So feel into it. Again, I want you to experience it. That's where it's really at. So we're gonna start with one word each now, 5 minutes each.
Yes, 5 minutes each. Let it move. Try not to get like this is something that you don't want to take a lot of time on, right? Let it just keep moving.
And I'm going to put on the timer for 10 minutes. Jump into it, even though you might find yourself hesitant to clean up the floor with the dust with your body. Just jump into it. It might take a little extra courage, but do it. We're all stepping out of the box right now, right?
Okay.
Good?
Yes.
See.
Let me just, there's a couple people that are texting.
Take your time.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to send you guys in your rooms, but I'm just getting some messages from some of you. So let me try to accommodate everyone's needs. Okay, here we go. Have fun.
See you in 10 minutes. Welcome back. Welcome back.
I love it. Smiles. Thanks, Julie, for your positivity. I love it. I love it. Okay, guys. So how was it? How was getting on the mat and doing some serpent, jaguar, hummingbird? Anyone want to share? How was it for you? We'd love to hear from you.
Who would like to share first? One at a time. There you go. Kat, she's shy, and then after Kat, we'll go to Julie.
Hey, oh my gosh, the first time round I was really rubbish. I just didn't find another word at all whatsoever. And I went after Sunny Jane, and Sunny Jane was like really good at it, and everything worked to plan, and I was able to tell her words, and that was really cool. And I wanted her to go first because I found this hard last year, and I don't know whether it's because my system has been stuck for such a long time that I'm finding it hard to kind of unstick it. I don't know. That's what comes to mind. But then I went into my weird shaman self, and I just sat there and I went, right, I'm going to call in the 4 directions because I need the power animals to help me because I'm not doing this motor system shift very well at all. And then I asked Sunny Jane to really tune in and help me be silly because she said that she found the key to it was to be silly. So, and then I shared her word, which was unseen. And then we got more of a flow going. So thankfully, Sunny Jane let me have 2 goes at it because the first time was like a no-show, and then the second time I got a bit better. But Sunny Jane really rocked it, and she was really great as being a shaman. So thank you, Sunny.
That's awesome. What was the word in the beginning, and what did it end up to?
Her word, she had 2 different words. So the first time, her first word was ashamed, and we ended with one. Where were it? Ashamed. Where did I write it? Ashamed and 1-to-1, and it was very interesting. But then we went to unseen, and unseen.
Went to muted.
You muted. Unseen went to unheard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Unseen went to invisible, see-through, transparent, doubt, tracking, unseen, power, invisible, clean, seed of light. And we ended with great one.
Awesome.
So it was really cool. She did a great job.
Awesome.
Yes. Good job, you guys.
Right, and that's the real important thing is when we're sharing this with the client and we're coaching them to get to ready to do it. It's like keep on saying the word and watch it how it may begin to shift to a more positive light.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one thing that's really nice, just a password sentence to drop to them. It's like, keep on saying it and see how from power animal to power animal, it might come more into, become light. Awesome. What was your word, Jane? What would you like to share?
My word was unseen.
Oh, it was your word. Okay.
I did unseen, and it ended up. What did I end up with? Oh, I ended up with
Shine.
shine. Yeah.
Shine. Awesome. Keep on shining.
Nice.
Keep
Beautiful.
on shining. Korpichai. There we go. Julie.
I feel like I've been talking a lot today, so I'm going to skip on to whoever is next.
No, you have to talk.
This was so cool because I am not like I came into it like going like, oh my God, like this is so not me. I was kind of the Nina of the pair. So I was like, oh, I don't think, and I had the best time. So it was really cool to kind of I turned the camera away from me though, and still having the power animals to kind of channel through was really very cool. So I'll let Natalie had her hand up. So she was my partner. I'm gonna let
Share your word, or Natalie, what was the word in the beginning? What did it end to?
Yeah. Well, do you mind if I share that, Julie?
Go ahead.
She went from power and the dual connotations of that word to fun. And I just want to share that this is my first time as the shaman in that experience. Well, either way. And what I loved is that as I watched her go through each power animal or heard her voice, it went from, one kind of a voice to another. But when she got to the hummingbird, it was especially interesting because the words were coming faster and faster. And then all of a sudden, when she got to the condor, they were floating on air, right? And so ending on the word fun, but it was also her whole being. So I kind of watched the being going from the serpent being through the jaguar powerful to the fast, to the freedom and soaring. It was amazing.
That is awesome. And so right on. What were your words?
For me, I started with fear from an earlier breakout session today. We had a great conversation about that. And I ended up with freedom. And I think it really mirrored the breakout I had earlier in the day with Sunny Jane, where she helped me to see some things. And I feel like it's already inside of me now, because being able to go from fear to freedom was, new and different.
Awesome, fantastic, super horpichai.
Super.
That's the whole idea, that it changes inside you. It's a visceral. Yeah, Julie.
I think both Natalie and I shared this really huge change when we got to Jaguar, and noticed that, so that particular animal got us out of like where we were and broke us through to a different portal.
Of course, right? Because the Jaguar has no fear, because you are the Jaguar, you become fearless, and then it gets unstuck because you start at serpent, you're in the constriction, you're in this, the constrictor, you're constricted in it, and then you come out. Really well done. And I do want to add and say that we're basically expanding our discernment, right? We're basically starting, and this is something that we may do, and I'm just going to take the liberty and say, Natalie, because we've sailed together, I feel that I've watched you do this.
Yeah.
I've watched you do this, like before you even started the training. It's just like, here you are. And it is sometimes what we do in the positions, if we're in a board, if we're in a meeting with someone, if there's sometimes that we can be, and I know you do this at work, that, there might be some tension somewhere, some stuckness, and you just throw a word in there and it's like, boom, and it just drops right in, and the whole room can change, and the meeting can go into a whole other level.
Yeah.
So, horpichai. For your discernment and your clarity. And for all of us, again, this is discernment. So feel if there's some words, we will be talking about what the homework is, but definitely I would say just now that it's fresh, before you pack up and go and have an awesome day, say, you know what? That word has been bothering me. I'm just gonna just write the word down. You don't have to do it right now, but write the word before it escapes and goes back deeper, because now we have files that are open. So just write it down, and maybe tomorrow you'll find some time to deconstruct it.
I wanted to say, anyone else feeling like they want to share before we shift into, like, transition into the closing? Everyone feels complete.
Everyone's feels free as a whale.
Good.
Ready to have fun. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome. I'm really, really happy. I feel this because Jaguar is a mind that we're really bringing to your attention and to coming to our attention that words is everything, because words are everything, because that's how we describe to our own selves the reality. Because we went somewhere, we met some people, then we come back home and I'm remembering. Mm-hmm. I'm not remembering the hormones, I'm remembering words. And I'm putting the members of these things together to rebuild and to tell myself the experience. So a lot of times when I remember things, I'm remembering by using specific blocks that we used to do it. So I'm going to remember something not as it was necessarily, but using the emotions and the thoughts that are my patterns. So this essentially is dismembering, is that a word?
Well, deconstructing.
And deconstructing and taking apart all that so you can come anew back to that. And the word's still in the vocabulary, but not in your neural pathways and not in your motor system.
And as we shift, I want to bring us into a little meditation. Phyllis had put a message in about the recording, just so you guys kind of understand the way the weekends flow. We will guarantee that the recording will be on the membership site on Monday. However, Kat has jumped in as our digital shaman and
as a cat
pouncing on things. So oftentimes we are surprised with an early post onto the membership site. So if you look at the membership site before you get the email on Monday, it's possible, it's very likely that the recording will be there waiting for you.
It's Kat that did it.
Okay.
And I also want to say, before we go into the meditation, we'll send out an email tomorrow morning, but whoever would like to hear a little bit more about the retreat here, August 30th to September 6th, we'll be here 10 minutes earlier tomorrow. So we're 15, let's say 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
We'll just share.
Natalie or whoever has come, and please do join and share your experience. So we're not saying, oh, we lead the best trips in the world. I want to hear from your experience.
we have a lot of fun.
Just ask us.
We're a little biased.
And if you want to hear about it, there is that retreat and several others coming up. So we'd love to hear you, see you there.
In honoring the transition from our sacred space and time together, if you want to just find your way into that comfortable Jaguar seat, feel yourself kind of nestling in, connecting to Mother Earth. Feel the crown lengthening up towards the sky and allowing the next breath to flow in, extracting the divine. Feel a light flowing in as you inhale. Feel that coating the inner lining of this vessel of your body. And as you exhale, feel yourself letting it all go. And take a moment to just pause and feel this light expanding with each inhalation. And feel the embrace of all of your allies as you exhale. One more full breath. And let that go. As you draw your next breath in, let your hands float up to your heart, bringing your hands into the prayer position, gently bowing your chin to your heart in deep reverence for this time, for this space, for this wisdom, for this community, and bowing to any allies that have supported you as you walk your authentic path of evolution and healing. Deep gratitude. And then as you rise, you can open your eyes, unmute. We'll extend a Horpy Chai before we sign off. We love you guys.
Horpy Chai.
Horpy
Chai.
Chai. Chai.
Well, see you tomorrow. However you can make it. Horpy Chai.